Mountains rise up into the night. I'm still here by your side. City's glowing out here on the edge. I'll walk with you until we drop. A new sunset, say goodbye to the light. I'm with you now and always will. Closing down, walk the empty street. The world goes dark and we're so still.
You gotta feel it. Take it all the way. You gotta feel it. Take it all the way. Ooh, ooh.
So before the show starts, as much as I love this, by the way, guys, the song is called Revenge by Dirty Phonics and Boss Fight, if you guys want to find it. But before the show starts, before I start the music, happy birthday, James.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
James.
Woo!
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to the Jahmez 5000.
Happy birthday, Jahmez.
Exactly, right. But, you know, since he's doesn't love us anymore and he's not going to be here, let's start the show.
Woo!
Distance nerding.
ages that are over the age of 18.
Please be over the age of 18.
Because these jokes are no longer family friendly. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now, watching and listening and experiencing and being a part of Distance Nerding, part of the Comic-Con Radio podcast family. She's Fray Girl.
He's Shdu.
He's Eugene from Geek Saga.
And he's young Phil.
I try to be, at least. I try to be. And we're here to nerd. Together?
Did we get it?
Yeah.
Did we get it?
Nailed it. 135th time. Nailed
All
it.
the time.
Yeah, every time. Got it.
Wait, are
Guys,
we on 136?
is it 136? I thought it was 135.
What?
It's episode 135. It's episode
Yeah.
135.
135?
Fray,
Oh, wow.
it's
I
okay.
don't
I
need
do
that.
that on my show. I do that all the time. I've got them all numbered like 215s, and then there's like 214. So it's all right.
Fray's over here like messing with my head. I'm like, wait. Did I skip an episode? Like, no.
Hey, stop
Guys.
gaslighting people. Come on.
It was a simple gaslight, everyone. What?
We're talking anything, pop culture, news, movie, music, food, wrestling, comics, whatever you're nerding out on, we want to talk about it. Guys, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Discord, OnlyFans, all at Distance Nerding. And guys, remember, you can email us at Fray's favorite place in the world, nerding at AOL.com.
There we go.
We know
Get
that
longer every time, folks.
that joke never gets old. It never will get old.
It doesn't.
It will only get longer.
It's my happy place.
I got to do what Cam said last time. It's like, pissed. All right, guys, let's talk about the geek.
But obviously, don't say you're doing it. Just do it.
All right.
Just do it.
That's why it's not going to work right now.
Right, exactly. No, now I can't do it.
Right. Nerding at AOL.com. All right. Guys, let's get into what we're talking about this week. This week on deck, we've got the Geekend Update.
We're hitting the Oregon Trail on the way to Annie Medford.
Oh, yeah. Got
I
some.
don't know what that means, but okay.
We'll talk about it. Starting rumors.
Is Shang-Chi portaling to a new phase?
Ooh, the download.
Let's talk about strikes and how it's affecting everything.
Oh no, that's not fun. Oh,
Can be, depending on how you talk about it. And then, of course, we end the show with the breakdown.
Will Nick Fury, my absolute favorite person right now, besides Jenny Wu, be wearing glasses or not in this episode?
Oh, he may be, and we don't know.
I think that there might be a bigger question in there, but I'm sure we'll go over it.
Absolutely. But guys, before we get to that,
But first,
I'm gonna shout out. Okay, sometimes I can't read and I'm looking right at it. It's like that one says starting rumors, that one says shout outs. Press starting rumors.
the funny thing is like you
Too
just pressed it,
professional,
and I was
that's
like, yeah, I'm gonna
We're going right into certain rumors. Let's just not talk about everything else we talk about at the beginning of the show, right?
yeah, let's skip right to it.
It's just you know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do sponsors in the middle of the episode instead of at the beginning. Guys, exactly. It's just throw it all off, right? Guys, we got a nerd appreciation shout out. Let's talk about some pod decks. That was a stall because I wasn't on the right page, like usual. Pod decks, ladies and gentlemen, pod decks. This entire channel is powered by pod decks. Pod decks are a unique interview, episode, question, and episode starting prompt in the palm of your hands. Or if you are a new podcaster or an existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, level up with pod decks. Check out poddecks.com. Guys, use the code NERDING10 to get 10% off your order. Now, Eugene over there at the Geek Saga,
Yes,
now uses pod decks.
Definitely do. And I use that wonderful Nerding 10 to get 10% off. I was excited.
It's true.
And then
He
they
did,
came in the
use,
mail.
he did use
I use them all the time.
Gene, how's your close-up magic now? Now that you got the pod decks, like did it up at a level?
Definitely, it's up the level, and I use it while I'm at the gate, and I make cards disappear.
There you go.
When he says he makes cards disappear, he means somebody's cack while they're trying to come into on base.
And instead, when they next thing they know, they're looking at it's like it's a question. They're like, "What the heck? Where's my cack?" And now I have a deck of cacks.
Why is there a question on this instead of
Exactly?
But,
you have
but
to answer it to get it back? What's
the,
going
the
on?
real question is how many of those government spouses are coming into base saying cat card? It's like you're saying card. Stop.
Oh. Yeah, let's not get into that because then will spark me into calling dependas, and I don't want to do that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we need look, we're not even 20 minutes in. No tangents, right?
No, we can't have chance.
All right, go into your bubble guts drink.
It'll be 3.5 hours if we
Guts
don't.
drink.
Your
Okay.
bubble guts drink. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are also brought to you by a drink that gives Eugene the bubble guts, but no one else in the world. Debbie.
I don't know why.
Debbie's an emerging brand of energy drinks created to help focus, concentration, reaction time with no jitters or crash. Debbie contains no maltodextrin, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors, no dyes. And guess what, guys? It's keto friendly for those of you who are, out there and living that keto life, right? But Debbie contains Neurofactor. It's a neurotropic derived from the coffee fruit. Neurofactor helps give your brain focus and clarity, while the 150 milligrams of caffeine and 3 essential B vitamins help you stay alert and energized. Guys, find out more about Debbie at www.debbie.gg. Use the code you see on the screen right there, Nerding10. That is NERDING10. Nerding10 for those of you who are listening, and get 10% off your order. I'm still all for the Debbie. The Debbie doesn't give me the bubble guts, so I am gonna drink some now, guys. Remember, there are now 7, technically 8 flavors out there right now. Flavor combinations, guys. Give me a flavor combination here.
Blue raspberry.
Okay, you love the blue raspberry.
It's my favorite. I do.
Okay, so what goes with the blue raspberry? What flavor am I mixing with the blue raspberry?
What's that green apple one?
Oh, Dub Sludge?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Let's do Dub Sludge and Big Energy Tears. Shout out to my boy Tyler, because the Dub Sludge is his favorite flavor.
Good old Tyler.
That's one of Eugene's favorite people now.
He's my friend now. I really like him. He kept me company all at Reno along with David, who was half asleep.
I love how much love that Tater gets, because he's a lot of people will say that he's like one of their favorite people.
Oh, I saw him.
Yes.
Was it yes? No, it was
yesterday.
Sunday.
Yeah. Because he's also my neighbor.
Yeah.
He's really cool. I mean, he talks to everybody when we were at the con.
Right. So fun story, Fray. While I'm making this drink, you want to tell him what happened the other day?
Okay, so
Oh no.
we're talking in one of our chat groups, and suddenly there's a video call from Phil. And so the first time I was like, oh, this is probably butt dialing, so I just like ended it. And then the second time I was like, no, he's done it twice. I have to give him crap about this. And so I answered it and I was like, hello? He was like, why is something coming out of my pocket? So he's like, what happened? And I was like, I think you butt dialed me. And he was like, yeah, butt dial.
Oh, my immediate answer as soon as I picked it up, I was like, did I butt dial you again?
Yeah, butt dial. And
Because it's not the first time that I've butt dialed that, like, people in groups like that.
Yeah. So then as soon as we get it on the same page, Art from KCP is jumping on the call too. So then we go through it again, and as soon as we're done doing it and all 3 of us are on the same page, Captain Lady Moon from KCP jumps on, and we have to say it all over again. It was like, oh my gosh, here we go. And then I think someone said we should make this a short. I was like, oh yeah. If they knew how odd we are when we're not on the show.
And I'm just hearing all this in the other room.
That was Ark saying, somebody needs to find a way to record this, and this needs to become a short.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. So.
Everyone's butt was thinking of each other. That's great.
Exactly.
My butt obviously thinks of everybody because I don't know if you guys remember the story from a while back. I told them that, but there was one time where I butt dialed our entire distance nerding group while I was peeing.
Oh, God.
And the phone is in my back pocket, and all you, I guess everybody's just like, I just remember Aaron Thick was in that chat, and he goes, "Phil, are you peeing?" And I just hear that in my butt, like it's just coming out of my butt because my phone was in my back pocket. So just my butt is saying, "Phil, are you peeing?"
Oh wow, that's funny. Oh, you got an international supporter.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jamie. We appreciate you supporting us all the way from Indonesia. We appreciate that.
What time? It's 1 a.m. Holy crap!
They're up there. They're awake and they're giving us some love.
Dedicated.
Exactly. Well, guys, I've got my concoction here. Let's go ahead and
drink.
That's not bad at all. It's actually pretty good. No, like I've never made a combination of these flavors that were bad. They're always pretty good. So that being said, huh?
I said you just wait.
There's gonna be one that's gonna give me the bubble guts like Eugene. And
Telling you, during the recording, you're gonna just be like, "Oh!" You gotta go. You just disappear.
He's just gonna be, "Oh!"
And then he'll have his mic.
Oh my
when
god!
He's there.
You're just gonna hear me go.
Phil, you're pooping. Oh.
Just like that, right? Now, speaking of screaming off mic, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Geek
Woo! Do it. Phil, you got to breathe sometime.
Breathing is a luxury that I don't have. Ladies and gentlemen, Distance Nerding is now on Comic-Con Radio. Listen to Distance Nerding and our second show, A Comic Conversation, via comiccon-radio.com. Look for Distance Nerding podcast, including this episode, and a new comic conversation each week on comiccon-radio.com/podcasts. If anybody wants to put that in the chat, it's probably going to be me because it won't let me highlight. Yeah. Good job, computers.
I like when he's concentrating really hard. His voice gets real ASMR.
I do that on purpose, though. Like, I really do that on purpose.
Everything's fine.
I'm typing.
There's not a fire going on right
No,
now.
I'm typing.
So I'm going to speak in a manner that
Opening chat.
very relaxed.
So if we're all doing it, then I must join in, right?
Eugene, stand.
Eugene has to get like up on his mic though if he wants to choke his mic. So I mean, like,
Yes.
Now, guys,
I'm uncomfortable.
go God. Let's talk about the next show, ladies and gentlemen. Anna Medford, August 13th. We're being yelled at by pups.
Oh shoot!
Anna Medford, August 13th and 12th and 13th in Reno, Nevada. Not in Reno, Nevada. Sorry, James wrote that wrong. We are. It's going to be in Medford, Oregon, guys. AnnaMedford.com/guests. Check out the people we're talking to. The first person name on that list is actually somebody that's going to be on Eugene's show tomorrow, Jack Lastra. So if you guys get a chance tomorrow, what time?
Tomorrow it's 7:30.
7:30 tomorrow at 7:30. Check out the Geek Saga here on YouTube and watch that interview with Eugene and Jackie Lastra. But we're also going to have Elise Bowman, Rick Robertson, who played Deborah in Dragon Ball Z, Michelle Marie, who played Sumi Nakahara in Dragon Slayer, Marie Westbrook, who's Dorio in Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and Peter Kalamis. That's right. The original Goku is going to be there at Dragon Ball Z. Check it out, guys. Again, head over to Medford, medford.com/guests and get your tickets early and make your way there, guys, because it's going to be a hell of a time.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, wait a minute.
In Reno? It's in Reno?
There you go.
It's in Medford, Oregon, because James
Medford?
didn't change it.
Medford.
Is that why it's called Annie Medford? Is it like an anime convention in Medford, Oregon?
Yes, that's 100%. You guessed
I
it.
thought it was just somebody named
Oh,
Annie Medford.
okay.
That was
All
me.
right.
Yeah, so it is, it is specifically an anime convention that Colossus Girl puts on that's in Medford, Oregon. So they just played on the name. It's Annie Medford. This is the first time they're doing a 2-year or a 2-day event. So usually it's only 1 day. They're doing 2 days this year.
Nice.
All right. Well,
My other thing I was gonna say that it was all the Anakins, everybody who loved Anakin Skywalker, because Annie Medford.
that sounds like a show that I would want to go to. Just make sure that you dress up as I'm forgetting his name. Character from King of the Hill. What's his name?
Which
Bill.
one?
The dude with the bald guy with the glasses.
Oh.
Bill.
No,
It's Bill.
No,
is that Bill? No, that's not Bill.
no.
No,
the
Bill.
bald guy
No,
with-
you're talking about Dale.
Dale.
Yeah.
Dale.
Dale.
If there's ever an Anakin Skywalker convention, you have to dress up as Dale specifically, as Dale Dribble, right? Because then you can just walk around to random Anakin and go Pakistan.
I like said,
That's hilarious.
It's coarse and it's rough. And stop throwing it at me.
Coarse and rough, gets everywhere. Pakistan. I will destroy you. The force doesn't work in my world.
Pakistan.
Yeah, so try and choke me all you want, but it's not gonna work.
Anakin, it's over. I have the Pakistan.
Anakin, it's over. I have the pocket sand. The best part is he's like a conspiracy theorist too. So it's just like, well, in reality, the government is the one trying to take you down, Anakin. And you know who the government is? Emperor Palpatine's the government. Oh, that's another good one. Pocket sand. Yeah. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. Woo, because it is now time to start some rumors.
I don't know where they're getting their news, but I'm not mad if tonight it comes true. Ooh, let's start some rumors. I wanna start some rumors with you. With you. With you. I wanna start some rumors with you.
Let's go ahead and leave this up for a second, just so that way we can give Fray a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
The nail biters.
It's just like when it's up too long.
Which is
they
why
just
I'm leaving
start
it up
looking
even longer.
maniacally
So-
at me.
So the question is, it's what is too long though?
The entire segment. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god, guys. We need to talk about
Woo.
Shang-Chi.
Oh,
Y'all.
yeah. So let's talk about this Shang-Chi, guys. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings star Simu Liu recently did a... Huh?
I just said Simu Liu because I like saying his name.
I'm not, it's a fun name to say, honestly.
It really is.
say his name, honestly. Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings star Simu Liu recently did a little Ask Me Anything session on the new Threads social media platform. During that session, the actor was asked about the status of Shang Chi 2, and he revealed that it would happen after Avengers, but he didn't specify what Avengers movie it was. There are 2 upcoming Avengers movies that have been announced. There are Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and the Avengers: Secret Wars, both of which have been pushed back and will be released in 2026 and 2027, respectively. Only 3 films have been announced for Phase 6 so far, which include the 2 Avengers movies and Fantastic Four. So Shang-Chi 2 could very well end up being a part of Phase 6, but if it's not, I guess that means we can expect it in Phase 7. So I guess the question is, I guess the taco's on the table, right? Is Shang-Chi going to be in Phase 7 or is it going to be in Phase 6? So I'm going to give you guys kind of a choice, but like, given that the rumor is kind of just like, just being ambiguous, right?
Yes.
All right, my mouse is on the wrong screen. There we go.
Phil's firing on all cylinders tonight. He's doing a great job.
Remember, I have to do all of this on my own, and I have 2 screens, and I lose my mouse sometimes. So,
yeah,
I do the same thing, and you give me such crap when we get you on. When you like get into the chat. I know you do.
So, guys, again. Oh God. So sorry. Before we get into the tacos on here, right? Happy Rock Sucks Day to James.
Aww. It's because we love him.
We do. We love him.
We love him.
All right, let's start this timer, guys. Let's get your tacos on the table, guys. What do you guys think?
I have something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm not putting any tacos on my table. Executive tacos, acting
no
tacos, no tacos on the table for this because I want it to be in Phase 6.
Why do you want it in Phase 6? So
because I feel like he needs another movie, and I think we need to establish it. He's just like when we left off with him, he had used the rings once. So there's going to be a time where he needs to ramp himself up. And I think, and I'd also like to see him in the Avengers movies. So that's he should be an Avenger. He's got some pretty awesome powers.
But I don't think that we are, moving on and saying that he's not going to be in Avengers Kang Dynasty. They're just saying that his next solo movie is after Avengers.
What I'm going to say is because it's going to be the Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm going to say it's probably going to be one of those in-between things to kind of fill in for stuff that we didn't see. That's going to probably happen in Kang Dynasty, kind of like what they've done in past movies. I don't know. Maybe.
No, and I think yeah. No, I want it to be in Phase 6. So,
So the thing is that when is Kang Dynasty? Is that 6 and Secret Wars 7?
But both of them were in 6.
Both 6?
Both in 6. So
then it's going to be 6.
Phase 7.
I'm going to say tacos on the table. It's going to be in 6.
Okay.
I want it to be in 6. So yeah, if we're saying tacos on the table for that, I'll put all of them on there except the executive ones because I'm keeping those back as leverage.
My carne asada tacos are on the table for Phase 6.
My tacos are also on the table. I say that Shang-Chi is going to be in Phase 6. It should be in Phase 6.
It should. I want it soon.
We need more Wong and by proxy more Madison.
I want less Aquafina. That's all I'm going to say.
I loved her in it. I'm not a fan of hers all the time, but
we need to ask Madison. Madison, are your tacos on the table?
What? Tacos? Are we having tacos? Where's my margarita?
All right. Madison's margarita is on the table. All right. So that was the only
All over
rumor
the
we had.
table, that's shit.
Oh man, okay.
That was the only rumor
Good
we had
rumor.
this time. So yeah, no, it was.
Good
So
rumor. Good rumor.
go ahead and move on to another triggering thing for Fray right here.
You act like I've got all of these like issues.
Just with these things, right? Because you've mentioned them in the show before. Like, oh god, that's
Another thing.
Right.
It's the thing,
Yet
and
another trigger for
Wink,
but it's
Fray.
things that I chose, so it means that I'm trying to trigger Fray, basically.
So wait, so the triggers for Fray, one of those things is like where you start something and then you just
Yeah. Oh, it's just you'll understand.
finish it later.
Yeah, you here. No, that's something that makes her laugh. It's not a triggering thing.
Oh, okay.
No.
I do that because it makes her laugh.
Mhm.
No, this thing you'll see here in a second. You probably remember it from last time you were on the show, but something that triggers her is this because guys, it's time
For the download.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
it's a little triggering.
for those of you who only listen to the show that don't watch. What's on the screen right now is a guy holding on for dear life on a computer keyboard, while like a rainbow is coming out of the computer and trying to blow him away, and he's trying to
It was a
hold on.
very, very liberal computer.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And I fully support the computer, whatever the computer wants to do.
Absolutely. What it is it's the internet is blasting in his face right now.
Mm. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that checks out. That checks
That
out.
tracks.
Glad to
Oh
see it.
god! All right, guys.
Oh.
You guys know we usually try and start with depressing news first. Now, I mean, before we do anything, remember, guys, check out the Distance Nerdington post for more news, all the trailers, reactions. Let us know what you're nerding out on this week, and you'll see like all the trailers, everything that comes out, all the new news. Now, why I say that this is not happy news is mainly because this still hasn't been resolved, and people are not being paid the way that they should be. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as of what was the date? It was is it
Was
in
it
here?
the 12th?
I think it was the 12th. As of the 12th of July.
Yeah.
SAG-AFTRA is officially on strike.
Right.
So virtually all of Hollywood has been shut down due to ongoing strikes with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. I mean, the WGA still hasn't been resolved, and this is it's troubling that the studios don't want to help them, get to where they need to be. But before we get to opinions, one of the unions behind the stoppages is allowing films to continue under certain circumstances. According to one new trade report, at least 6 productions have been given the green light from SAG-AFTRA officials to continue filming principal photography. Since the strike is a result of failed negotiations between SAG-AFTRA and the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers, or the AMPTP, which we'll refer to as from here forward. The union is allowing select independent pictures to film. I think it was anything less than 23 million, was it?
Oh.
yeah, I think it was something like that. I don't think it was over
That's-
30 million.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that sounds about right.
It was a really low number. Which only reason I know that number is because Kevin Smith on Fat Man Beyond was talking about they're getting ready to do principal photography on his latest film. And the only reason that they're able to continue, only reason they're able to do it is because the film is like less than 20 grand, 20 million or something like that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I mean, if it's like independent films and stuff like that, they very rarely have the big studios that they would strike against.
Right.
So they're just making the film, and then usually they go to the big dogs to distribute it.
Right. So there's little recent precedent for the waiver template, given that the last SAG strike for theatrical and TV actors was in the 80s. The trade reports the Guild's website promised weeks ago that when the strike was authorized, waivers would be granted, but it didn't disclose terms, how or when. Marvel star Mark Ruffalo wrote a lengthy Twitter thread trying to convince the union to push more actors into independent filmmaking. How about we all jump into indies now? Content creators create a film and TV making system alongside the studio and streaming networks, so there's actually competition. Like the actors,
He's a smart man.
He's a very smart man.
He is.
Yep.
So like the Actors Guild, the Writers Guild of America is also on strike over similar issues. Some of the latest reporting cited studio executives telling trades they hope to push negotiations until October or November in an attempt to put the heat on the writers to come to an agreement. Honestly, these studios, it's really becoming corporate greed at this point, right? Because it's kind of like,
oh yeah,
you guys make a crap ton of money, you know, like I not to single out one person, you know, I'm not even going to say the name because I don't want to, I don't want to like jump on this, but like there is a certain studio exec that runs a maximum a maximum streaming service. If you don't know where I'm going with that,
the robot. You're talking about the robot.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
But the thing is like his home alone. No, they don't own that. Okay, never mind. But the home that he lives in is a $60 million home. You make enough money. Allow everyone else to get a little bit of that. Like I was looking at this thing that said that the writer, the person who wrote the episode that featured Daredevil for She-Hulk, he got $395 and no residuals.
What in the what?
That's ridiculous.
Right. Now, contrary to how a lot of the internet feels about She-Hulk, the show did gangbusters. Like it did amazing. Like it did, you know, it got all the numbers. Everybody watched it multiple times. So it's like, you know, a lot of people are going to hate on it and whatnot. And there's a lot of people who are haters. I personally like the show. I'm sure
I loved it.
I didn't. I'm going to be the dark horse here. And I'm like, no, I didn't like it.
I
But
like it because I felt like it followed the comic books exactly. Like you got the essence of the character perfect, right? So I mean,
was
like
it,
there
was
were
it perfectly Jennifer Walters from the comic? No, but
No.
I feel like it got her essence. I thought it was cute. I thought,
it was
very
amazing.
much in the vein of She-Hulk, and so and I can't believe that someone got paid less than $400 to write an episode.
To write an episode, also did not get residuals, considering that it was the most profit-making TV show of all the shows that they've released this year.
Wow.
Like,
So
what in the
when it
hell
comes
is
to
up with
these,
that?
when it comes to the writers, I can see how, yes, go on strike because you guys, they really don't get paid. They get paid pennies, obviously.
Yeah.
With $400 for an episode that is going to continue to air on, you know, Disney Plus until they finally take the whole show off. It's ridiculous.
Right. You know, writers should be treated a whole hell of a lot better than they do. Now for actors, I where I go on this, a lot of people immediately think that A-listers are the ones who, you know, kind of dictate everything. But you got to remember, like 70% of people in SAG-AFTRA are working actors, are actors that don't get paid all that well, that get paid scale. And if you know what scale is, it's not that much.
No.
I think they're saying like they're lucky if they get $26,000 a year.
I was just gonna say, like, it averages out to like a working actor can maybe make about 30 grand a year.
Well,
which is
not even
live in LA.
No, it's not even 30 grand. Fray's about right where it's about 26,000 because most of these working actors, and I'm talking like again, not the A-listers, but those that are the background players and all that other stuff,
right?
Can't even have enough money to get, or they don't even qualify for medical insurance because they're under $26,000.
Right.
That's
They can't get medical insurance. They don't
have
get
to
food.
book so much and make so much so they can pay the dues and all that. So
I can see the working class actors out there and fight for what you need or what you want to make a living. A-listers, And it's nice that you guys are showing support for them, but you guys shouldn't say we. You should be saying we're here for them.
Well, see, that's the thing is I respect how like the reaction that a lot of these A-listers are doing. Like they're on the picket lines with them. They're all out there trying to fight for them and stuff like that. Like it's not like the majority of A-listers are sitting back like, oh, whatever. Like a lot of them are out there fighting for all these actors, and I think I find that commendable. You know, I find that to be something that is like respectful because, like, you know, not everybody can be Keanu Reeves and just give your entire paycheck as an A-lister, give your entire paycheck to the crew. Right. But I mean, like, you know, like it's like, and hence why, again, we always talk about how Keanu Reeves is like, you know, the greatest man in existence.
Oh, he is.
He's known for doing stuff like that. Right.
I want to have his baby.
I know.
When he did Little Buddha, I knew he was really the real deal.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, like, you know, it's because some actors get royalties for movies and things like that, right? I mean,
yeah, but like they're even like they were talking about Sean Gunn was like SAG-AFTEA like filmed him, and he was talking about like he did Gilmore Girls, and that's like a really successful. That's like one of the most successful shows on Netflix. It is like I think it like really launched Netflix into streaming. And
I mean, Gilmore Girls is already like a massive show to begin with.
Yeah. So
I don't know what you guys are talking about with this Gilmore Girls stuff.
From,
you mean the Golden
Netflix? He said he thinks he got like over the whole time, like maybe $20 for residuals. That's
disrespectful.
Yeah, that's because the companies find ways to say they're losing money so they don't have to pay the residuals.
Right. It is just complete and total. I don't know if I can curse here, but it's
no, you can curse. That's fine.
It's complete and total bullshit. Is what it is.
Yeah,
seriously,
it really is.
It's
but it also kind of sucks because now we have no entertainment until they solve this.
That's the point, you know.
Yeah,
that's the point. If we want it back, we got to fight. We fight right with them.
Yeah,
the last. I don't know if you guys remember the last strike they, or at least the writers went on back in 2007. Mm-hmm. Right in the middle of Heroes. Mm-hmm. That's why we got such a crappy end to Heroes.
Right. Yeah. And that's why Heroes got canceled. I mean, like, you know, Heroes was a good show.
It was.
You know, it suffered because there's no good writing. You know, mm-hmm. And it's kind of like it does kind of piss me off to see that, again, these giant studio execs, you know, who, we make all the moves and all this stuff. But you guys aren't putting all the work in that actually makes you this money. You know, and it's like the writers, the directors, the crew, the actors are the ones that are doing all of this for you. Like if it wasn't for all of this, you would be nothing.
Right. You are the feudal lord collecting taxes from the serfs.
Right.
Well, oh my God. Them trying to push it out till October. It's basically trying to starve them out. It's like,
that's what they're doing.
That's all they're doing, which really sucks.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're just trying to get. They're trying to get actors and writers to just kind of like, okay, well, we'll see what happens when you lose your house, and that's bullshit.
It is. It is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, you know, you're making somebody have to choose between not making any more money and being okay with status quo and losing their home when you don't have that risk at all.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's the companies are getting into petty bullshit.
Yep.
And the unions are just trying to fight for the rights of the people in their union. I mean, that's it. And I don't think what the writers and the actors are asking for is unreasonable.
It's not.
Oh. It's been 63 years since both have been on strike together.
Yeah.
So I think things will change. I just don't know if it's which way it's going to change and how long it's going to go on. But I'm in full support of the unions.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that we are entertainment journalists and we report the news and we report on things and we don't promote stuff so that we can fully support them. I'm just glad that they're sticking together, and I'm hoping that these cowardly companies and networks crumble like the little kids that they are.
Right. I mean,
That's
there's
all
a
I'm
lot of
saying.
these fat cats. You know, the whole thing is like
Mhm.
the country is starting to just kind of realize that there's a small amount of people at the top that make all the money, and it's kind of like we're getting tired of it, and everybody should have their own fair share. But we're not going to get into politics. We're going to move into the next story.
Yeah, because this would be the whole stream if we did, and no one wants to hear that. So
Yeah. So we do have one more thing here. I'm going to be a little iffy on what we can report on. Well, I guess because we are reporting on this, and it's not that we're promoting anything.
Right.
So I mean, Hollywood has been halted, guys. All the Marvel Studio productions, such as Deadpool 3, which saddens me, but at the same time, I understand. And I'm happy that they're compliant, that they're being compliant with it and saying, hey, no, we're not going to continue or something like that, you know, like some other productions are doing. But, you know, such as Deadpool 3, Daredevil Born Again, Agatha Coven of Chaos, Captain America, Brave New World, Wonder Man, and Thunderbolts, they've all been paused. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige and Louis D'Esposito have gone ahead and issued a joint statement to their staff that addresses the production delays that are caused by the simultaneous strikes of WGA and SAG-AFTRA. So quote coming from, I'm not sure who this is coming from, but it's one
It's
of
from both of them.
Oh, so this is the joint statement then.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a joint statement.
So quote, we recognize how much you've all done on your specific projects, and it's disappointing when carefully laid plans have to shift. But constant changes is the nature of the production business, and our teams are no stranger to unexpected challenges and rising to meet them. We deeply appreciate all of your efforts to make the best of the situation, and we can all hope that a new agreement will be finalized soon so we can resume the great work we have in process. I mean, I respect that, again, that Kevin and Louis D'Esposito are both kind of like at least in line with saying, hey, you know, hopefully everything the agreement gets done. You know, it's everything's being halted because of what's going on, but he's not saying like, you know, end this and do anything like that. He's saying, you know, the hard work you guys are doing is going to pay off, and we'll be back to work at some point. You know, like I like that he's not trying to push anything, and he's just saying like, let's you know, what happens, and we're all here for each other.
Yeah. It's just weird because I think since the pandemic, they probably have a plan for when unexpected changes occur now.
And we know that's happened multiple times.
Yeah. So they probably have this playbook now for it. So I do like that it's a positive message. Kevin Feige's still being like, hey, I'm the good guy. If anything's coming down and you hear any bad stuff, it is not coming from me. It's coming from Bob Iger, because that man can't keep his mouth shut when he's on an airplane. Anyway.
Oh God. And we're going to be talking about Bob Iger here in a little bit. Wow. Who also happens to be my wife's hall pass.
Good choice.
Is her other hall pass. It's yeah.
So
Anyway,
anyway,
get some
better looking.
Get Disney passes out of that.
I'm saying he's better looking than Dumbo, so I mean it's fine.
There you go.
Not by much. Oh.
But yeah, and I'm upset because, you know, I have to wait longer to see Charlie Cox again. That's what I'm upset about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm upset that I have to wait for Agatha Coven of Chaos because
I'm upset about that too.
You know, because I as much as I want to watch that, we all know my hall passes in that show. So I mean,
Oh, I get it.
Oh, Charlie Cox isn't even my hall pass, y'all. The Chris Evans is my hall pass.
He's just got a cool name, Cox.
Right. No, I just really
Well,
she said, "Yeah, no."
Well, you know, I mean,
I mean, but I'm saying
that's a hall pass.
I just have this weird, like primal thing with him, and I'm just leaning into it. That's all this is.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Just
What?
put on the mask.
Excuse me.
no, the best part of this is that she's talking about this and her son's on the stream, so it's like,
Yeah.
Oh, please, I'm used to this.
That's
I
my
don't care.
son.
But I'm sorry. Primal? What?
Look, you were there when I screamed twice in a row when he was on screen.
Yes, I know.
Spider-Man.
Oh no, I was
No
in the
way
theater
out.
next to you.
never done that before. So that's
It was
an
just
indication.
involuntary. I was like, what the?
We can talk about this later.
Yeah.
I feel weird.
This is
Yeah, let's move on.
Tell me more.
Move on.
Let's go, quick.
Fray, you want to take the next one?
Sure.
Please, God.
The dwarves will not go on strike.
They should.
The Lord of the Rings.
Yes, they should. They
The
deserve
Rings
better.
of Power, Season 2, has wrapped shooting amid the writer's strike and will not be affected by the SAG-AFTEA strike. According to Variety, Rings of Power finished production a few weeks back without its showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay on set because of the strike. The show will run for 5 seasons. So I guess if it goes long enough, the next season might be impacted. But
Right.
I wonder if they're part of, because like House of the Dragon also is continuing, and that's because none of the actors are SAG-AFTRA. They're actually the UK Equity Union, and they're not allowed to go on strike if SAG-AFTRA goes on strike.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
So I guess a lot of stuff's going to be moving over to the UK, but
Right.
this story, I'm sorry, but this show is just, I got nothing good to say about it. So
It's not your cup of tea or ale or grog or whatever.
and I love here's the thing, I
it's not
love
my
the Lord of
mug
the
of
Rings.
mead. Oh.
I do love the Lord of the Rings, but this show just was.
Well, what Amazon did with this is what Disney did with Star Wars, right? Like, I mean, like there was there's a lot of lore that was already there for Star Wars that Disney just kind of ignored to do new stories.
Right. You can't throw out the whole EU here, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what they did, and I mean they're reintroducing a lot of that lore back into Star Wars, specifically because
We kicked and screamed.
partially, but it's more so because of who's in charge now. You know, like so. I mean, you know, like you have somebody who has a lot of love for Star Wars in charge of Star Wars now, and he's doing a lot. And of course, everybody's complaining about what he's doing now, but it's different complaints.
Right.
But the other thing is that, you know, now it's just the purists that are complaining because it's like, oh, well, you brought back certain characters that I wanted to see, but it's not the way that I wanted him. Like, God, shut up.
There's nothing wrong with screaming that, okay? I am so like furious. I'm kidding. I'm not.
It's like, you know, people are complaining about how Thrawn isn't like this bloody monster, and it's like, yeah, but he's still
a bloody monster though. I mean.
Oh yeah,
well,
we
he is.
finished Rebels.
Yeah.
We caught up. I actually understand the whole importance
That's
of
why I have Dune
why
here.
Ahsoka wants to find Thrawn. By the way,
he's a monster. But I mean, like the thing.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, but like you know, because and I don't want to take up too much of our time talking about Thrawn, but I mean, like Thrawn is one of those characters where, like the original story of Thrawn was like he massacred an entire planet. And you like the cover of the book was like, you know, him covered in blood, and people wanted that. And it's like you get the same effect with the coldness and the calculating kind of like nature of the way that Thrawn is now. And I think it's an improvement that a lot of people just don't want that. They want more of a brutal version of Thrawn.
I think he's legitimately fucking scary.
And I feel like he's scarier when you make him cold and calculated rather than just being unhinged. You know what I mean?
You just don't know when he walks into a room what's going to happen.
Right.
It's really.
Also, I don't
fact
know
that a
if
guy
you
can
wanna
beat
have somebody in an animated form be covered in blood. I mean, didn't they like try to change all the bloodiness in Japan, and then they made it white, which made it much worse. Don't ever do that.
Right.
Please, God, never do that.
Yeah, it was.
He's
like,
covered in white stuff.
Okay.
Okay, guys, going back on that, the reason that I brought this up in the first place, which I'm going to reset the timer for this. So I mean,
Sorry. Sorry.
But we're gonna be here a little while.
I'm just so glad it wasn't me.
No, it was me. I'm sorry. The reason that I brought that whole thing up was because they kind of did the same thing. Like Amazon ignored a lot of lore that was already there.
Yeah.
That Tolkien already kind of like wrote, right? Like Tolkien already wrote not exactly everything like story wise, but he wrote the lore out, right? And
yeah, I mean the whole Silmarillion. I could go grab it, but
and that's exactly where I'm going with.
Yeah.
He wrote the Silmarillion, and they kind of ignore the Silmarillion to do a lot of the stories that are in this.
Even down,
Hmm?
even down to just the description of the people, and people don't like that, or Amazon just took that and just pissed on it and just said, you know what, we're gonna do our own thing. I'm sorry.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I'm okay with the studio taking liberty to expand on characters, but just don't ignore source material. I've always talked about that with everything, right? Like when it comes to like Marvel movies, DC movies, even a little, like to an extent some Star Wars stuff, like don't ignore the lore. If you're going to expand on the lore, that's fine, right? Like Shadow of Mordor, the game, was really good about that. They did a really good job of taking stuff that were elements that were already there and putting a story inside of that. And I think they did a good job of that, right? Like, you know, with doing that, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. But with this show, if it's a standalone product, it was a good show. But when it comes to it being connected to Lord of the Rings, I can understand where a lot of people were upset.
Yeah.
You know,
I have not seen it, so I can't
We
comment.
haven't watched.
Don't worry
either,
about it.
so.
Don't.
it's
don't.
a good show. Yeah. It's a good show if you detach it from Lord of the Rings in the first place. Like
That's
if you
gonna
just
be real hard
watch
to do, so
if you watch it as a fantasy show and just kind of like, you know, like all the things that are involved in it in itself, as a standalone, if it wasn't attached to it's kind of how I feel about X-Men, right? Like the X-Men movies, right? Like if it were a movie that was not X-Men, those movies would be okay, right? But it's an X-Men movie, so it doesn't hold up to snuff, right? Whereas same thing with this, you know, like the issue with this is that they ignored lore that was already there in order to do new lore, and it's like, you know, they feel that they did something that could live in the universe, which it could if it were an alternate universe and it wasn't what Tolkien wrote.
Right.
It's all brand management, baby. Brand management. And they ain't managing the brand.
Right.
It's horrible.
I mean, really, just to finish it up, I'm sorry. Just to finish it up real quick, you have this material, you can be lazy and just take it. I'm just saying, you don't need to put in the effort to write new world building.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's continue.
Moving on. We babbled enough about
Moving
this.
right along.
Oh my god, I love that song.
Did you want to read it, Eugene?
Oh, me? Oh, wow. I got the honor. We're going back to the grid, maybe with a lightsaber. Ooh.
Eugene, catch. Oh.
Yeah. Cameron.
Moynihan.
Monaghan. Did I get that right? Am I good? I'm bad with last names.
Cameron Moynihan.
Monaghan. All right. Is set to join Jared Leto in Disney's upcoming Tron Ares, the third film in the Tron franchise. That's cool.
Is it okay that I didn't know there was a Tron franchise?
2 Tron movies. It's a franchise at this point.
The moment they made part 2, I mean, now we're in a franchise.
That's true.
And,
franchise mode.
So, I mean, it's as we continue, Monaghan, so bad, is best known for his role as Cal Kestis in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and his sequel, which I still haven't finished, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. He also starred in shows such as Shameless and Gotham, which
he was the Joker.
Yes. Even though when that show first came out, they're like, no, he's not the Joker. He was the Joker.
He ended up
I don't hold it against him.
He did a good job.
Mistakes.
We all right.
No. He
wasn't a bad Joker. It was another issue with like lore not being good, you know.
No.
I know, but this kid is
just messing with Phil.
This kid's got some chops.
He's great. Joker's one of my favorite characters, and she's just messing with me because she doesn't like the Joker. So
he's overhyped. Okay, it's not that I don't like him.
You know what?
Not every Batman movie has to have him in it.
I agree on that. I think there's.
I remember
much bigger.
I remember when you guys were doing that one bracket, and she went on about the Joker, and I was in that chat, and I kind of egged her on too. But it was, yeah, the Joker. I'm sorry, Phil, but he is nuts.
He's just overhyped.
He's a good. No, the thing is if when done right, he's a really good character. But again,
I do agree with that.
But again, I believe that kind of like I agree with you in that and that aspect is that he is kind of overdone. There are so many other good characters you can do where you don't like. We need Heart of Ice as in live action.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to see Heart of Ice in live action. Just get that tragic story.
God, I would cry all over again if I saw it in live action.
You get a good enough actor, right, to play Mr. Freeze, and that movie will make you cry.
Yeah, it definitely would.
There's so much depth to
Because if you can,
many of his villains that
if you can get,
don't know why they keep going to freaking Joker.
Oh yeah, because he's most well known. But I'm like, if you can get somebody who can play cold but emotional at the same time, like can play a character that has no emotion.
That's good. Funny.
I love the idea of because the voice actor that played him in because he was a Broadway actor, but like the actor that played him in the animated series,
Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.
I believe so.
It is.
Damn.
What he was really good about was the like it was a very monotone character, but you still conveyed the emotion from the character itself.
Oh yeah, he did. He really did play it up. I mean, it wasn't like he played it up, but he played it really good, and you could feel that pain.
You just need somebody who has presence like that.
Yeah.
Again, we're going on a tangent. Let's continue.
Yes. Go.
All we know about this story right now is that it's going to focus on the emergence of a sentient program that somehow crosses over into the human world. Leto will take on the role of Ares, which is the manifestation of the Tron program, which at the end of the first Tron, well, not the first, but the second Tron, we did see that he did pull what's her name? What was her name? I'm not just going for the actress.
Olivia. She broke up with Jason Sudeikis.
But what was her name in the movie?
Oh God, I don't know.
Oh gosh, I don't even remember that.
Sorry,
it's been like
I've seen it
since
but
I saw
it. Remember nothing.
Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde.
Her name was Cora.
Cora.
So Cora, and that's exactly what you're bringing up right now. Like at the end of the movie, they showed that Cora crossed over into the human, right? So I mean, like, it's kind of like they've already established that it's possible. So for something like Ares, this program that Jared Leto is playing to cross over into the real world, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of havoc he can kind of like.
Well, and it's also a natural progression from the second to the third because they showed
Decker's son.
Yeah.
And I mean,
so,
like the point of the first movie, like the whole point of the first movie was to create a artificial world where you could find out. You can figure out how to fix the world and then bring it back out to the real world, right? And they kind of like did that in the second movie. So now, if it's a manifestation of Tron coming out to the real world, obviously it's not going to be like Tron himself, right? I mean, like Tron's dead at this point because when he finally, his programming, he sacrificed himself, right? So it's like this is the second time he sacrificed himself. Tron killed himself twice.
He's gonna do it a third time.
I know, right? But like now is like a manifestation of Tron, which is actually supposed to be a security program, right? And I can imagine that this version of Tron is going to be based on this. I don't remember what his name was in Tron Legacy, but
I know what you're talking about.
Rinsler. When he became Rinsler, I imagine it being a derivative of Rinsler finding his way into the real world and just causing havoc.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, Tron. Oh,
well, I could honestly see, like, because we did see again, Decker's son was part of the board, who was already, pissed at Flynn's son, bringing out this manifestation of Ares, and then, boom, there we go.
Right.
So
I don't know.
I have issues.
Okay. And that's time. Thanks.
The
Oh no, we'll let you we'll let you get your go ahead and like say what you have to say, and then we'll move on to the next one. But I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, so the biggest one is 2 words: Jared Leto. I'm not going to watch this movie because he's in it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this anymore. Jared
Leto is a weirdo. I'll give you that.
God,
and he does like a lot of just kind of off-putting things, but there's no denying that he's a good actor. I mean, he is a really good actor. He's just, it's kind of like the Ezra Miller kind of situation where Ezra Miller is a very problematic person. Jared Leto is a very problematic person. I mean, sending condoms to people and dead bats.
Yeah, I'm not
on the set of Batman. Like, yeah,
I am not. Absolutely not watching anything with him in it anymore. So that's my first big issue. And then the second one is why I liked where they ended it in the second one. I felt like that was such a good end to it. And so I'm just like, why? So it better be freaking good. If
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Money.
Oh yeah. No,
Money.
I know why.
I'll tell you this. I'll give you an example, right? Like, yeah, Leto played Joker, and it was, kind of nobody liked that and like the way that he played the character. But right after that was Blade Runner, and his character in Blade Runner was amazing.
It was.
Right, and then after that, he got a chance to play the Joker again, and it was a really good version of the Joker.
No.
Right, the second time he played Joker, when he played Joker in Justice League. That was actually a decent version of the Joker. I actually enjoyed that in comparison to the crappy version that he played in Suicide Squad. I mean, like that. Leto when channeled correctly, I think this is the way that we phrase this. When channeled correctly, is a really good actor and can put on a good performance. When channeled in the wrong ways, he's the Joker from the Suicide Squad, and everybody hates him. So I mean,
hey, blood magic when channeled the right way.
Multiple chances. I'm just done.
I hear you.
I really, I just am. I'm just done with him.
He's been frayed
him as a person.
Yes, he's been frayed.
I'm just done.
Be afraid.
Honestly, because I have seen him, and I have had this feeling since he was on My So-Called Life.
Gotcha.
And I'm not a big Claire Danes fan either. I don't know what My So-Called Life did to me. I think maybe I'm blocking it out, but I just am not a fan of either one of them. And yeah, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's just My So-Called Life.
Bill, there's another trigger.
I know.
We're talking about My So-Called Life.
Okay, cool. Let's go. We gotta move on.
Hey, Shdu, you want to try this one?
Sure. All right. So, we have the 2023 Emmy Award nominations have been announced, and Star Wars shows The Mandalorian, Andor, and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, you went one ahead.
Excuse
We're
me.
on the Guardians one.
All right. Try this again. After becoming
I just love that Phil was all about it. He was like, no, we'll just do this.
Okay, we'll just go back to this one. All right.
No.
All right, here we go. After becoming one of the biggest box office hits of the year, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is finally making its way to Disney Plus for its streaming debut. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 debuted in theaters to rave reviews earlier this year, with writer-director James Gunn delivering an emotional and satisfying conclusion to his space opera trilogy. Agreed. About 3 months after it initially debuted in theaters. Disney and Marvel Studios announced that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be hitting Disney Plus on August 2nd.
Yay!
Woo!
I'm excited to watch this movie 1,000 times over and over again. I love this movie so much.
I'm excited to cry 15 more times.
I know, right?
I just saw this movie 2 days ago.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's funny because Jackie doesn't really like watch superhero movies anymore. She's not really into like MCU or anything like that. She really won't go out and watch these movies. She went out and saw this in theaters. So I mean, like, it's Guardians is one of the few franchises within Marvel that she will go out of her way to go watch. And it's partially because she loves Groot, but then also because they are good movies.
Yeah. I say this is
who doesn't
the
love a low floor
strongest
Colossus?
trilogy that the MCU has produced.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it really has.
I
Well,
would
we've talked about
agree.
it before.
We talked. You guys talked about this on Saturday Morning Nerd Out too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it
you guys
really
went full
is.
spoilers because remember we did a review of this movie on Distance Starting. I think it was just me and you actually.
Yeah, we went on like a Instagram.
Right,
It was
Instagram
like a
Live.
Wednesday Instagram live thing. But yeah, it was such a strong overall story when you saw everything, but each individual story was also really strong. And it's hard to do, especially when it's characters that are not as well known as other, like really not well known. And and they made everybody care about them. So yeah, I love it. And I will be watching it a million times as well and crying every single time.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love the characterization. I love the way that they. I mean, there's a couple swerves in the movie too. Like, I mean, spoilers for a movie that's been out for what, like a month and a half now.
No, it's been out longer than that.
Months, 3 months. It's been out for a while now, right? But I mean, like, you know, like there's a couple swerves. Like there's a couple times where you think certain characters die, right?
Yeah.
And I think he did that on purpose because, you know, he was kind of teasing that people are going to die in this movie, right? And it's like, spoilers, nobody really died.
No.
Yeah.
Right?
Technically, one person died.
Technically.
But then came back. So,
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, he didn't, I mean, sorry, I had to sneeze.
Bless you.
I mean, at the end, we got all the Guardians. It was just, they did went their own ways, and it was great.
Yeah.
Technically, we did lose a Guardians character, but not in the way that everybody thought we were going to.
Yeah.
I guess technically we lost two of them because one of them is now a Ravager. The other one is no longer a space outlaw. So it's like, you know, which, I mean, they did say that he's coming back. So, I mean,
well, but then we don't know where two of them are going either. And they went their separate ways. So it's like cycling through some of them. I did like one of the post credit scenes or mid credit scenes of the new Guardians. I thought that was
I like that.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of curious how they were gonna like kind of tackle Adam Warlock and I a lot of people, again, that was like the one complaint that a lot of people had was Adam Warlock, but it's like I actually enjoyed the way that they did Adam Warlock, that he was very kind of like childlike, but at the same time he knew he was super OP. So it's just kind of like, how do you deal with this character that is like supremely one of the most powerful characters in all of Marvel, right?
Yeah.
That was the one thing I really liked was how they handled Adam Warlock. I was laughing every time I saw him.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
So
it was almost a soft intro to it.
Yeah.
Like this is just him in his like toddler stage kind of thing, you know. Like,
right. You know,
he's just out of the cocoon.
Yeah. Out of the manger. Okay, well let's move on to the next story here. I'm gonna go to the one that Shdu thought that he was gonna do. The 2023 Emmy Award nominations have been announced, and the Star Wars shows The Mandalorian, Andor, and Obi-Wan Kenobi have scored 20 Emmy nominations across multiple categories, including Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series for Obi-Wan Kenobi and Outstanding Drama Series for Andor. So worth it. Just to throw it out there, guys, Outstanding Limited and Anthology Series, the stuff that ended up in there: Beef, Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, Daisy Jones and the Six, Fleischman is in Trouble, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Of which all of these
only stacked.
Only two of these shows I'm actually familiar with. So I mean, or three.
I would say I'm familiar with all of them. I haven't watched all of them, but I am familiar with them.
Which one is that? That
Fleischman is in trouble.
Cows. No,
it's about butter. No.
Right. Now, Outstanding Drama Series: Andor, Better Call Saul, House of the Dragon, The Last of Us, Succession, The White Lotus, and Yellow Jackets. Now,
God, that's a
That's a
stacked
tough
one,
category
too.
right there.
right,
That
I was
one's-
gonna say
yeah.
that one is a packed category.
Yeah.
You cannot call that one because Andor is really good. Better Call Saul is one of the best shows on TV.
Yeah.
House of the Dragon was really good. Honestly, I don't think that one's gonna win just because
No.
it's a very
Yeah.
genre show and they tend to kind of stray away from genre a lot. Last of Us was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Succession is one of the most successful shows on TV in general. White Lotus is amazing. If you guys have not watched White Lotus, you have to. And then, of course, Yellow Jackets. I was going to say his real name for a second. Graveyard will tell you all about Yellow Jackets all day.
And all of the shows are so different.
Yes.
Like all the dramas are
Mhm.
so different. So
Right.
I like to see that,
And
but yeah, there's so many different ways that it could go.
and saying that like the House of Dragons is such a like type of specific show that it might not win. You take Andor and The Last of Us, they're both that kind of genre thing because they're kind of you're talking one sci-fi and the other one's a video game.
Knowing the Academy, more than likely it's going to be Succession or White Lotus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because they're
probably.
all a bunch of old. No offense to you, our white brethren out there that are on the show right now too. They're all old white guys.
Those old white dudes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. I'll happily insult them.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Like Beef is an Asian story. Dahmer's, freaking Jeffrey Dahmer, and that's a very even though it's based on true events, it's definitely going to be one of those things where they're going to consider it genre. Daisy Jones and the Six and Fleischman is in Trouble. I'm not familiar with those two shows.
Never even heard of those
Daisy
things.
Jones and the Six is basically a 70s. It's set in the 70s. It's about a band. They get this singer Daisy Jones, and they become like overnight success.
There,
And
it's
just
almost
kind
like a Janis Joplin.
Yeah, almost.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's just kind of
Okay.
like. And then the band breaks up at some point, and it's just they're retelling all of this from they're in the present.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's that. And then
I said band, I was hoping
Fleischman's
for
in
like
Trouble. I
Spinal
can't
Tap.
remember what it's about. I remember the name, but I can't remember what it's about. So
Yeah, now I
Like,
remember
I don't see. This is one of those things where, like, because knowing the way that the Academy usually votes, I feel like Beef and Obi-Wan are off the table. Dahmer there's a chance that it could, but again, because it's such a niche thing, a lot of times they're gonna like stray away from anything that has that type of almost like horror element to it.
yeah,
They tend to go for more like almost independent style stuff.
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, but like they've also done some really interesting. They've made some, especially with like anthology series. They take more risks on stuff like that, like the
Yeah.
limited series or the anthology, and they have taken more risks with that than just the drama series. I could see the drama series being way more
There's gonna be a lot more
mainstream.
competition in that.
Yeah, and then
Right.
like maybe the limited going to Beef because it was a little bit more genre, but it was also like well liked over different genres, just like and that's probably the one that they would go with over all of them because the rest of
Right.
them are so niche. So
Yeah.
Look at this guy talking smack in the chat. I swear.
We didn't even say his name 3 times. God.
No, okay.
Oh.
say the Rock's canceled 3 times.
He says,
Right, I know.
"Happy birthday, Jahmez. Thanks for the invite to the stream, y'all." The fun part is because he's getting into the stream late, the whole beginning of this show was Jahmez doesn't like us anymore. He's not on the show because he doesn't want.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. We love you anyways.
Yeah, and we did say at the beginning of the show, if you had been here, we said
Yes.
happy birthday
Swift
to you.
kick in the cack.
Yeah.
We really started the show with happy birthday, Jahmez.
You know what? I take it back. That's it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the next story, guys.
So
Speaking of Disney, when Iger returned as CEO to replace Bob Chapek, basically one Bob for another, they're bobbing right over there. After his brief rocky run, it was originally only supposed to be for 2 years. Well, guess what, folks? This Bob's here to stay. Bob Iger has extended his contract.
No one
at the
calls me
Walt
Nick Bob.
Disney Company, and he will continue to lead the charge at the company through 2026. Let's see how many jets he can buy in between now and then, friends.
I like
Nobody
how
calls me Nick Bob.
Bob's your crazy, weird witch uncle.
Bob's your
Fray
uncle.
just said Bob and Bob. He's bobbing.
Bobbin.
And Bob.
Bobbin.
Okay, so I mean, I have pluses and minuses for this. Like, I'm both excited, but at the same time not, because Iger knows how to run the company. Iger knows how to keep the company successful. When Bob Chapek took over, they started taking some nosedives in certain areas.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Iger's also known for being the dude who actually ruined Star Wars. So
Right.
it's like, where everybody blames Kathleen Kennedy and blames everybody else, Bob Iger is the reason that Star Wars got the ending that it got. And Bob Iger's the reason that Palpatine came back. Because he
is Palpatine.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, but I mean, like,
So what you're trying to say is that Disney's just got a whole chamber full of Bobs.
I know.
Right.
And this is
He's
just
the
another
somehow.
iteration of Bob.
He
is the somehow.
Bob Iger is literally, because I guess there's J.J. Abrams said that there was 3 endings, and there's 3 different versions of Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
And the version that we saw on screen was the Bob Iger version, because he felt that was the one that was going to make the most money.
Wow.
Why, Bob? Why?
And the thing, J.J. Abrams is on record saying that the version of the story that he told was completely different, and Palpatine wasn't involved. The only reason that they put Palpatine in there was because Bob Iger was like, well, Palpatine will make money, so put Palpatine into the movie, make it happen.
I feel like this is like the whole Superman legacy, or not Superman legacy, Superman, what was it?
Man of Steel?
Nick Cage.
Oh.
Superman all over again.
Yeah.
Was it Superman Legacy?
No.
Maybe it was. No.
Superman Unbound.
Superman Lives.
Yeah.
Superman
so-
Lives. That's what it was. Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, like, the issue with Bob Iger, again, like I have, the dude knows how to run the company. He knows how to run Disneyland. He knows how to acquire different properties to kind of like bolster Disney and I mean,
he's a businessman.
Right. I mean, overall, the things that he's done, I'm not like upset with. Like, again, as much as
I don't know, I'm kind of upset with him for making all those comments.
Which ones?
About the actors. And
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a different
one. That was a little disappointing. I'm a little disappointed in Bob. You hear that, Bob? I'm disappointed.
We're disappointed in you.
But again, like Iger's the thing that upsets me about like when he gets involved in properties is he thinks like an exec and not like a creative.
Yeah.
And
he's not an Eisner.
Yeah,
no.
Definitely not.
That's for sure.
Like, again, he's I mean, he's not Walt, like Walt was all about being creative and letting creatives be creative. And after hearing kind of what happened with the sequels and knowing to what extent Bob Iger was involved in that, it kind of like is like, you're not the creative that Walt was.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. You're holding up his legacy by making the company successful and hiring good creatives, but you're not the creative. So get your hands out of the cookie jar.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs to do what he does best, which is the business side of things, run it, put the right people in the right places, and just say, all right, cool, let's do it.
Right.
Yep.
Like let the Kathleen Kennedy has her faults, but the best thing she did was put
Favreau and Filoni.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was put Favreau and Filoni in charge of Star Wars, because you have people who actually love Star Wars making Star Wars, and one of those guys, Filoni, being the guy who is the handpicked successor to take over Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
From Lucas himself. So I mean, like,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and just let Feige do Feige things. I mean, honestly, like let him be over
Yeah.
the MCU. But I just and
Yeah, just let Feige be Feige. Like, it's continue to let Feige be successful because Feige knows what he's doing. Let him do what he's doing.
Yeah,
I agree. I concur.
All right, now
Same here.
speaking of
More Bob,
more Disney and Disney stuff, right?
now I just feel like Bob is doing this because he's obsessed with me, and he's just
Why are
bringing the
you
rest of
so
the
obsessed
world
with me?
into it.
As Disney CEO Bob Iger continues his mission of fixing all of Disney's problems, which we all just had a whole conversation about, he's not exactly doing all that all the time.
Nope.
It looks like fans can expect to see less Marvel and Star Wars content.
What you doing, Bob?
During an interview with CNBC, when talking about those franchises, he said, "You pull back not just to focus, but also as part of our cost containment initiative, spending less on what we make and making less." Marvel is a great example of that. It had not been in the television business at any significant level, and not only did they increase their movie output, but they ended up making a number of TV series. Frankly, it diluted focus and attention. Now, only if they'd cut back on their live action remakes.
Shut up, Bob.
Right?
I mean, he's not wrong to an extent. There is a lot of kind of like, they are diluting Marvel a little bit, right? But the thing is that the reason that they started doing that and increasing the storytelling aspects and everything like that was because we wanted it.
Right, exactly.
Well,
we
and
did.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I mean, we may be saying the same thing. I have no idea, but probably not because I'm out there. So, no, but I mean, they're expanding the universe. So obviously we would get more content because we're going to have more heroes and villains to follow along with. And that's just something that happens. It's a comic book universe. There are hundreds of titles, hundreds and thousands of characters out there. So yeah, they're going to have more content. That doesn't necessarily mean they're diluting it. It just means they're setting it up for the next phase of heroes to come through. But
like one of the things I see, like especially with like how everybody's talking about how, oh, I didn't enjoy this with Marvel and all this other stuff. I have a feeling what they're doing, what Feige's doing, because I know Feige knows what he's doing, right? Like I have a feeling what Feige's doing is he's planting seeds more than anything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody's like, I didn't like this movie and I don't like this and I didn't enjoy this. I guarantee you it's going to be how Dark World was, where like, like Dark World is one of those movies where everybody's like, oh, I didn't like that movie sucked. But then like after Avengers came out, after the Infinity the two Infinity movies came out, it put context to that movie, and now that movie is like everybody loves it, right? So it's kind of like I have a feeling that that's what Feige's doing with all these movies, is like all this stuff is planting seeds for stuff that's going to happen later, that's going to give more context early to these movies that were early on. It's like, oh my god, I love this stuff now, right? Like I think that once phase 6 is done, I think that everybody's going to look back at all these movies and enjoy, and TV shows, and enjoy them that much more.
Yeah.
Because it's going to add, like, these later movies are going to add context to everything later on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on all of that.
The dude is so good at long term storytelling.
Yeah.
Well, he's got that slow build.
He's
that
playing the
slow
long
build and anticipation. Right. It's just now that everybody understands the formula, they get impatient with it and want to know everything immediately. And it's like that's not how the MCU works. And you guys were fine with that through the Infinity War. So come on, and there's still stuff that we're still talking about from, the earlier phases that are coming to fruition now, like seeds that were planted then. So,
is Bob cutting back so he can do some more live action remakes? Because if that's the case, then Bob's gonna go.
I mean, they're doing Lilo and Stitch next, and then they're doing a live action Moana too.
I know. Yeah.
they're just going to take all the animation and make it live action, and they're going to take all the live action and make it animation.
Which we don't necessarily need.
And
You know?
We don't.
No, we don't.
We don't need it. It's got to go.
Especially when there are stories to tell, rich stories that are good that you can do in the MCU franchise and the Star Wars franchise.
Let's just remember that Little Mermaid is one of the only movies this year that is considered a success. So I mean, like a genuine success. So I mean, there's not very many movies that have come out this year, and I actually do believe we're going to talk about this later. But there are not very many movies that came out this year that are considered successful films.
Not even Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I thought that was considered successful.
Guardians was, but I mean, like again, there's a short list. There's more movies that have been unsuccessful than ones that have been successful. Little Mermaid is one of those, like, it's one of those movies that wasn't like a international sales saved this. Like, it was one of those movies that was successful on its own, and then international sales made it even bigger.
Just like catapulted it.
Yeah. So, so let's go ahead and move on to the next story, you guys.
I'm getting depressed here. Let's move on.
Oh my God! Can I do this one? Because it's Nathan Fillion.
Woo! Is this one of your hall passes?
No.
He's one of my hall passes.
I was in a blood feud with him for a little while, but I'm pretty sure he didn't realize we were in a blood feud. So, okay. On to some brighter days DCU news. Writer and director James Gunn, he is my god now, has added Nathan Fillion from Firefly, The Suicide Squad, Castle, One Life to Live, Two Guys,
and Green Lantern himself.
And Pizza Place.
Yes,
and
he has played Hal Jordan 3 different times.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's in this picture. Has a Green Lantern shirt on.
Look at that.
Bravo.
Yes. He was probably actually filming.
I had that shirt.
He probably was. And Edie Gafigi, that's what I'm going with. X-Men First Class to the cast of his Superman Legacy movie. They joined the previously cast David Cornsweet, our favorite. We love David on the show.
Cornsweet.
As Clark Kent / Superman. Oh my God, Clark Kent is Superman.
Oh my God, I didn't even know. He's been wearing glasses the whole time.
You heard it
Just
here
spoiled
first,
this
people.
whole thing for me.
All right. And Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. And you'll know
My
Rachel
future
Brosnahan from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Marvelous.
So hot.
So, the 3 new cast members will have major roles in the film, with Merced taking on the role of Hot Girl. And you know what? That's the role. Isabella Merced. And I love that. And I'm going to tell you here in just a second why. Gafegi is set to play Michael Holt, Mr. Terrific.
Again, I'm very excited for. He definitely looks the part.
He'll be good. He'll be really good. And Fillion will be playing Guy Gardner, so he's going to be another Green Lantern. So
that surprised me, because I was like, he's played like 3 or 4 different versions of Hal Jordan, and he's playing Guy Gardner now, and he actually fits Guy Gardner perfectly.
I think he does too. Although Husby thinks that the guy that played the clown doctor, what is his name? Ron somebody. Ron. What is his name?
I don't know.
But he's got no hair. Ron Corbry.
Okay. Oh, Rob Corddry.
Rob Corddry, that's it. He thinks that he would be the perfect Guy Gardner.
So Rob Corddry would be a good Guy Gardner. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And I agree with him as well. So
yeah, I think Nathan Fillion's going to do a good job. I really do. I think this is totally something that he could do. He's got that wise ass personality.
Yeah.
And there are times people want to punch him in the face. So I mean, I think that's it. So
Guy Gardner, the weakest of all the human Green Lanterns.
He's got the Green Lantern with the glass jaw, so to speak.
It was funny. They decided of all the Green Lanterns, the one that everybody hates is Guy Gardner, and he's a cop. So it's like, like he was a cop before he was a Green Lantern. Remember, like everybody else, Hal Jordan was a test pilot. John Stewart was a Marine and an architect.
And Guy Gardner, cop.
Kyle Rayner was an artist, which that's why he's so powerful, is because he's so creative. But then Guy Gardner Guy Gardner's a cop.
What's wrong with him being a cop? Jeez,
So many things. So many.
hating on me.
No, because he's saying what's wrong with being a cop because Eugene is a cop. So it's like he's not a regular cop though. He's a MP, and nobody likes MPs, so we're fine.
So my thing is, if you look at the characters that they've already announced, we're probably gonna see the JSA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we
makes sense.
might see the JLI because the Guy Gardner that everybody loves to pick on is from Justice League International.
Yeah.
So we might see that version.
But then also that we're getting Hawk Girl, which she's probably going to be a Thanagarian version of Hawk Girl and not the version that they've been trying to do with the ancient Egyptian, the Golden Age Hawk Girl. I like that they're going with the modern Hawk Girl because I'm assuming they're going with the modern Hawk Girl because that version of Hawk Girl I think is way more badass. Like that Thanagarian mace is like she can knock out like anybody with that thing, and she's so much more fierce than the Egyptian version of her. And then of course Mr. Terrific, because it's funny that they're doing Michael Holt because Mr. Terrific has been getting a lot more play lately, and a lot more like in the comics and in animated stuff and things like that. Like, but he was like non-existent up until a couple of years ago. As far as like, he was a character in DC, but nobody looked at him.
From like the stuff that I'm like hearing from James Gunn, just like the different stuff that he's passionate about, like authority and things like that. And I'm like, they are bringing authority back. They have, but all of this is what was popular, like right around the time I was also growing, like in that phase where I was just reading everything.
Right.
And so I think he wants to do the version of the JSA that, the one from the 90s that when they rebooted it and they had the crazy Starman. I can't remember who did it for the life of me right now. I feel so bad. I am so sorry, comic book people, because normally I could just, right off the
But
top
also
of my head,
remember that we're getting like Justice League International makes sense because remember we're also getting a Booster Gold movie too. So I mean, like,
yeah, that's a good point.
And Blue Beetle,
is
also not
which I'm actually looking forward to.
Not Jaime Reyes. But a Blue Beetle was in Justice League International as well.
Right.
So that could be setting that up. But I'm
the
finding
modern
out
version of
with the
JSI. I was saying the modern version of JSI has Jaime Reyes in it. So it's like,
oh, okay. Well, there you go.
But so they could mold them together because I was thinking when Guy was in it originally, like when Batman slugged him and stuff, which is I have that comic. Thank you very much. Freaking awesome. But
because there's nobody in the world that as far as comic book fans and comic book readers, nobody in the world disagreed with Bruce punching Guy in the face.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's like, you deserved it, you little.
He really did, because Guy's a jerk.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. As a Green Lantern fan, he is.
James Robinson. The JSA by James Robinson. I think that's where he's going with it. And I think he wants the JLI from what I was saying. So we might get fire and ice in it. And we could get a reestablishment of Maxwell Lord.
Okay.
He was in cool. JLI. Yeah.
That would be
that's
cool.
What I'm thinking.
I want to see, lately they've been doing a really cool team up with Blue Beetle and Firestarter.
Ooh.
And I would like to see them bring in Firestarter and have Blue Beetle and Firestarter like kind of have their relationship that they've been having in the comics lately.
That'd be cool. I could see that. He could be, instead of Booster Gold, since he could be buddies with this Blue Beetle, and Booster Gold is like Ted Cord, because I mean they're gonna mention Cord.
They have to. Well, I mean Ted Cord exists apparently in Blue Beetle, right? So I mean, like, yeah.
That's just where, like, as soon as I heard like those three, I was like, they're talking JSA and they're talking JLI. I was like, this is fantastic. This is amazing. So, sorry.
It seems like James Gunn is doing exactly what he's being brought in to do, and he's doing
Mhm.
everything right.
Oh yeah.
So I'm actually excited for the new DC movies. I hated a lot of the old ones. I'm just gonna say
Yeah,
that.
I just feel like it's definitely going to be a bright new day. It's
Yeah.
not going to be as dark and emo, I think. And I really think that James Gunn is willing to take risks where some titles might be darker than others. And some are just going to be wacky, crazy, bananas, ridiculous kind of stuff. And I think it's going to be fantastic because that's what DC is. It
I mean,
is
considering the
exactly what it should be.
news that we have, like, like,
yeah.
I mean, go ahead and finish. Like, so when's the scheduled date for Superman Legacy?
So, Superman Legacy will launch the movie part of the DC Studios Gods and Monsters Part 1. It's expected to begin in early 2024, just on track for its currently scheduled theatrical release date of July 11th of 2025.
Whoop.
Like I said, like, just knowing James Gunn going into the madness and the weird.
Yeah.
Oh man, the casting that we just got.
I like.
I know.
This is something I read that I was like, I like this casting.
You want to go ahead and
And
read the
this
story?
to
Sure.
me,
Speaking of
this-
Superman Legacy,
Sorry.
oh sorry, wait.
no, go ahead.
All right.
I'll do it after.
Anthony Kerrigan is the latest to join the cast of James Gunn's Superman Legacy, and the announcement comes as landed his third Emmy nomination for his work on Barry, which I love that show, and I like him on it. So Kerrigan
I
will be taking on
haven't
the
seen
role.
it.
Oh, you got to
Bye.
watch it, Frey. You
Yeah.
definitely got to
It's on,
watch it.
it's on the list. It's on the list.
Yep,
As soon
I
as
know.
Titans,
There was
we're
an
gonna watch something
ever-growing
else.
list.
Yeah, but Kerrigan will be taking on the role of a superhero named Metamorpho,
Yep.
whose alter ego is the archaeologist Rex Mason. So this is actually really cool to hear that they're going to be bringing in
This
him.
is such a weird character choice, but I love it.
It's cool though. I like that.
That's what I'm saying. I love it because I love that James Gunn brings in the most unlikely characters, and I love it.
Yeah.
And what does he do with those characters? He turns them into gold.
Well, because who
Booster Gold specifically.
yeah, I know, right? But like who would have ever thought of all the characters in DC that you would ever see live action, Metamorpho,
Right.
right? It's the same thing with, like, nobody really thought TDK was ever going to be on screen, but we got TDK.
Yeah.
Dude, that was funny. I love that was awesome to see him in that.
Yeah.
So-
Go
Uh-huh.
ahead.
I was just gonna keep reading.
Oh, I was gonna say this also supports the JLI
Yes.
and JSA because he's been in the Justice League and the JLA when they were the JLA. He's been in all of those in some iteration. So he's got a lot of connections, and I could see him being more of like an older mentor type guy that people go to, like almost like a Martian Manhunter type of character in the movie. But anyway,
I'm excited about it. I'm really looking forward to it. How about that?
In the comics, Mason was transformed into Metamorpho after he was exposed to the light of an ancient meteor while on an expedition to find the orb of Ra.
Raw.
He uses his ability to change into an element on the periodic table to fight crime, discover the world's mysteries, and maybe get another chance at being human. So, like I said, I'm kind of excited about this one. He's a really cool character.
I think it's cool,
Odd,
and
but cool.
he could be considered. He might see himself as a monster, so that might be the part of the monsters and the gods and monsters part of the movie that they're doing. So
Right.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. No, it's
All right.
exciting. It's again. I think we've said our piece on this one. So
How long do we have to wait till it's out?
till July 11th, 2025.
yeah.
Long time to wait.
Woo.
So Shdu, you want to take this next one? Because I'm pretty sure your mom wants to take the last one.
Oh, yes, I can see. All right. So, speaking of Legacy DCU, ever since James Gunn and Peter Safran took over at DC Studios, fans have wondered what the fate would be of the current characters we're seeing in the DC EU films. Fans are looking forward to seeing Cobra Kai star Sholo Madueña.
Close enough.
Sure.
Polo.
Madueña. There we go. I should know this. Take on the role of DC's Blue Beetle next month, but we weren't sure how he'd fit into Gunn's universe or if he would at all. But as Gunn often does, he responded to a fan on Twitter who asked about the character's fate, saying, yes, Blue Beetle, paid by the wonderful Xolo Maridueña. Xolo Maridueña. I wasn't sure if the X was a H or not, so it's Xolo Maridueña. Gotcha. And a handful of other characters will continue on in the DCU, even though the first DC Studios movie is Superman Legacy. First DC Studios project is the animated TV show Creature Commandos. So yeah, Blue Beetle's continuing on.
I'm pretty stoked about this now. And who wants to do it?
You want me to do it? He's never done it, so let me do it, and then that way he'll know.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, Blue Opsis Beetle synopsis.
We have a Blue Opsis Beetle synopsis.
Yeah, you read it.
All right, I will read it. Recent college grad Jaime Reyes returns home full of aspirations for his future, only to find that home is not quite as he left it. As he searches to find his purpose in the world, fate intervenes when Jaime unexpectedly finds himself in possession of an ancient relic of alien biotechnology, the Scarab. When the Scarab suddenly chooses Jaime to be its symbiotic host, he is bestowed with an incredible suit of armor capable of extraordinary and unpredictable powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes the superhero Blue Beetle.
Ooh. Okay, so after hearing this synopsis, there's a couple of changes that I'm not against. The fact that they made him a lot older because he's a college graduate, whereas in the comics he's still in high school.
Yeah.
And that they made basically they're hybridizing Jaime's version of the Blue Beetle with like they're changing it a little bit, right? Because it is alien biotech, right? But they're making it older. So they're saying like it's an ancient relic, whereas it's supposed to be like a precursor to an invasion kind of thing, right? But or maybe they're making it where like they sent it like in the past, but it never like infected anyone, right? So it is like older technology, which could explain like him fighting like maybe a newer version of it.
Yeah,
right.
I could see that. It was an alien technology, but came a long time ago, got buried, and then it was discovered, and then because our technology got to the point where we could sense the energy signature it gave off.
Right, and that's kind of what I mean. Is like it's like something that got sent a long time ago, but never infected anyone. But then like you're also getting sort of a hybridization with Ted Cord on that, so it's like I like the idea of you're kind of like taking the two versions of the character and merging it. And again, like I was saying, like we want to have a version of Ted Cord that is like a mentor for him, because Ted Cord essentially was Iron Man. He built his own suit, so it's kind of like
yeah, I think so. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Ted Cord, always. So I will be happy to see him on the screen. I hope it's not one of those where he's not really there, or it might be kind of cool if at the end of Blue Beetle something unlocks and it's holograms and teachings that Ted Cord can give him. So he's not really there, but he's actually still mentoring Jaime.
Right. So, like you have a way where like, kind of like Ted, they do establish that Ted is dead.
Yeah.
Ted is dead.
But there's a way where like, just like you said, like I like that idea. I think that's a good idea.
I just think that would be kind of cool that, that way Jaime's still on his own. So we've kind of got that like old school greatest American hero vibe about it.
Right.
But he's also does have a mentor, know, and then like he could even later figure out a way to open up like an AI aspect of it so that he can actually have conversations with Ted Cord. Like how an AI would know how Ted Cord reacted to certain things.
Right.
So, yeah.
Cool.
I'm all full of ideas tonight, guys.
You are full of ideas.
I like George Lopez being his mentor.
I do like George Lopez.
Yeah.
I
Hey, I'm wearing a Batman shirt right now too. Batman is a fascist. All right.
He's a fast.
What's the date that we got on this, Shdu?
Oh, it is. Blue Beetle will say "Hola" exclusively in theaters on August 18th, 2023.
Damn it, James, it's derivative. Okay. So let's get into this last story here.
Well, this last story is about my future daughter-in-law, and
Oh, you
what
found her
she's
hot too?
doing.
Oh, I'm not complaining about that. Yes.
That's not-
Yes.
I'm saying you
I'm
you find
either
him on Milani
adopting
hot too.
her- I said I'm either adopting her or I'm introducing her to my child. So either
I'm
way,
in.
she
Imam
will be
Milani's
adopted.
pretty
I'm
hot.
here.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm in. I'm in.
So
And she's of age, so I can say that.
and
You should have put that
she's-
disclaimer ahead of time.
Right.
Right? You're like, now hold on, I'm gonna sound like a creep for a second, and I am. But
All right,
put
ending
some
on a
Radiohead in the
bit
background.
of comics news for the sweetest superhero that we've ever had in the whole world. No, I'm just kidding. All right, spoiler alert: reports of Kamala Khan's. Is it Kamala? Kamala
Kamala Khan.
Khan. Okay. Kamala Khan's death have been greatly exaggerated. Let's all put on our pretend shock face because nobody ever comes back in Marvel Comics.
I said this last week. There was one character that was supposed to stay dead, and even in another alternate universe, he's still alive. So Uncle
Right.
Ben is still alive
Yeah.
in the universe where Gwen Stacy is Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they have no shame. Marvel Comics has no shame.
Yeah.
Neither does DC though. So we're
No.
neither.
Comics in general have no shame. How about that?
The superhero known as Miss Marvel valiantly sacrificed her life to save the universe earlier this year in Amazing Spider-Man number 26 and was celebrated by her friends, family, and fellow superheroes in this week's special issue Fallen Friend, The Death of Miss Marvel. But
I heard
as
that
we-
book was really sad.
Yeah, I did too. I heard it was pretty emotional. But as we all know, death is rarely permanent in superhero comics, and Kamala is no exception. She'll soon be back on stands, like comic book stands. Like she's not going to just go and stand places.
You know,
okay?
I wasn't gonna question it, but
And
yeah.
that's not even the biggest news. Iman Vellani, the actor who plays Kamala in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, starting with last year's Miss Marvel series on Disney Plus and continuing on the big screen with the Marvels later this year, will co-write the new comic alongside Miss Marvel TV writer Sabri Prasada.
Sabir.
Sabir Prasada. Carlos Gomez and Adam Borum will handle the art, and Sarah Pichelli will provide the main covers. This was way scarier than joining the MCU for me, Vellani tells EW. That's Entertainment Weekly for those of you who may not know. Those projects feel like they live in their own dimension, so I guess I can separate myself easier. But you can hold a comic book. I've never written anything before in my entire life, but I have read comics. So I just wrote what I would want to read. I was given a very professional tool to write what is essentially my own fan fiction. In another,
I'm gonna
know,
preface.
she's-
I'm gonna preface before I say this. She's adorable. Okay, let's go.
she is
Let's
adorable.
keep going.
You see her face; she is adorable.
Yes.
She is. In a nod to that big revelation from the Miss Marvel series finale, the comic will be titled Miss Marvel: The New Mutant.
Woo.
So I have to say this, right? This is just the first thing that popped in my head when I heard this story.
Mm-hmm.
Iman Vellani is Kamala Khan.
Yes.
She is. She
Not just
absolutely
acting
is.
as Kamala Khan, she is Kamala Khan because
Really?
she is a comic book nerd, comic book fan that on her first audition for anything landed the role of Miss Marvel. And now she's writing Miss Marvel. She was a fan of Miss Marvel that got to play Miss Marvel on her first audition for anything.
Yeah.
Right.
She talks about this, that she had never auditioned for anything in her life. She auditioned for Kamala Khan and got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And she killed it. Like, I mean, for somebody who had never acted before that, she did an amazing job as that character.
Well, she had acted, but just not
Oh,
professionally.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was on stage and things. So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, she hadn't done any on-screen acting, right? And it's just kind of like, again, she did everything right. And that's being somebody who was already a fan of that character. She read Kamala Khan. She already knew everything about Kamala Khan, and mostly because something that we've talked about on the show before, representation. That she saw Kamala Khan and she saw herself in Kamala Khan. You know,
And
she's
she
like,
wanted to read it so she could feel like she could be a superhero too.
right. You know, Kamala Khan is a Pakistani character. She's Pakistani herself. So she was just like, I see myself in this character, and grew up loving Kamala Khan as a character, got to play Kamala Khan. So exactly what Kamala Khan was, 'cause for those of you who have never seen the show or read a comic book, Kamala Khan was a massive, like,
Fangirl.
Avengers nerd. She was a fangirl.
Total fangirl.
Right.
And so cute.
But like she gets Terrigen Mist, finds out that she's an Inhuman, and becomes a superhero. Right. And it's like, that's amazing. You know, and for Iman Vellani to become that, like, basically be Kamala Khan, and now she's getting to write the character. That's amazing.
It is.
Well, and
it really
that
is.
mean it shows that she's getting to shape the character as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's getting to put even more of herself into it.
She understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah.
I think they're doing it right with putting again, this is a true fan right into one character and then into the comic.
Right.
To write it.
It's
I mean,
just
this
so
is,
awesome
it's awesome for her.
when all of this comes together, like when something like this happens, and we should
And it's
celebrate
rare.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be incredible.
And she'll have a job through the strike.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good point.
So she's taken care of. My baby's
Good.
taken care
I'm glad.
of. My
glad
baby,
taken care
she's
of.
taking care of everyone. She's
And we all know
gonna be
though.
okay.
We all know though, comic fans or comic writers don't get that much. So I mean,
No.
that's another group.
You know what? It's something.
She'll be
That's another
working
group
in and out.
that needs to renegotiate the way that they.
Oh yeah, just all the comic book writers too. Yeah.
Well, people who work in comics in general need to renegotiate.
Oh yes,
that they
definitely.
get paid.
Definitely.
But that's also a non-union gig, so
Right. You know,
it's what it is.
You
in the
know,
comics union, everybody.
I'm not done talking about Marvel, specifically the MCU, and specifically a character that we will see Iman Vellani interact with later in this year. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, that is amazing. That was a great. This may be the greatest segue in the history of distance nerding. Oh my god, that was great. Finish it.
I'm talking about, I need to talk to you all about Nick Fury and the secret invasion going on.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, with that segue, it's time.
Even the dogs know.
With that segue, it's time for the breakdown.
Break it down.
Yeah, let's get it, guys.
Woo!
Oh man, that was I can't I can't with you, man.
I just love you guys were so like, oh, where is she going with this? What's going on? What does she want
Bro,
to do?
because like it sounded like you were gonna bring up a point real quick, and then all of a sudden it is the greatest transition in the history of distance nerding. And I love it so much. Guys, let's talk Secret Invasion Season 1, Episode 4. Oh my God, guys. All right. There's a lot of people talking about how this season is moving, and this episode just solidified how good this whole show is. So let's get into into the synopsis of this episode. Secret Invasion Episode 4 continued the show's connections, Easter eggs, and references to the wider MCU in a shorter but no less consequential outing. Since Marvel Studios began creating TV shows for Disney Plus, Episode 4 has tended to mark big reveals. From the reveal, the Timekeepers, to Loki being pruned in Loki, and John Walker murdering a flag smasher in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, to Mark Spector awakening in a psychiatric hospital in Moon Knight. Marvel's Disney Plus shows have had huge revelations in their fourth episodes.
The pin also.
WandaVision too.
WandaVision also had a big drop in episode 4.
That's when she kicked out Monica.
That's right. That's
when we found out that she was doing all of it. That was like a big reveal.
This continued with Secret Invasion Episode 4, which continued the story after the reveal that Nick Fury's wife, Farah, is working for Gravik. After the MCU Secret Invasion twist, in which Gravik shot Gaia at the end of Episode 3, the show wasted no time furthering the intrigue-based story of the covert Skrull invasion on Earth. Guys, I need your initial your initial thoughts and what your expectations going into Episode 4 were, and kind of how you got blown out of the water the way that I did.
So can I start? Because
please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So after the last time I was on the show, I hadn't watched any of the episodes, so I had to do kind of a binge watch as I was eating dinner today. So I went through 3 episodes, so I know what's going on in this 4th episode, so I could actually sound semi-smart. But after I watched the 3rd episode and had that like 18 seconds to think about it, I had no idea what to expect. But I was like, holy crap, this is getting freaking bonkers.
Yeah.
It is like, I was actually excited to see what was going to happen in Episode 4.
Right.
And like I said, I had 18 seconds to kind of be all like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So there we go. That's how I felt.
I mean, I kind of had a feeling going into the episode that at the end of Episode 3, and again, spoilers, guys, we're going to be talking a lot of spoilers here.
Yep.
Going into Episode 4 and seeing Gaia get shot, I had a feeling. I was like, she's got to be a Super Skrull. Got to be. She's got to be a Super Skrull. They wouldn't kill her after a Super Skrull reveal just like that, you know. And it turns out that she was a Super Skrull. So I mean, like, we went into Episode 4, and I was just kind of like, I was waiting for things to just kind of blow up, and it did, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that reveal with Rhodey.
Oh yeah,
I knew that was happening. I've been saying since Episode 1, James Rhodes is going to be a Skrull. It's going to happen.
Yeah, he has. He may have gotten some points this week for that.
So. I mean, for me, I was just a little bit like I expected Rhodey to be a Skrull. I'm just a little disappointed because I thought they might not do it because that was the obvious choice. You know, that's like the obvious one. He's the one, you know, one Avenger or whatever who's actually in the show, and then it's like, okay, well, of course he's going to be a Skrull, you know?
Right.
So I was a little disappointed, but I mean, I expected it. So I think it's interesting he's a female Skrull, though.
Well,
yeah,
the only
she don't know how to be Rhodey. That's all.
Nope.
The thing is, like, the only thing that I had with Bara going in, like, because I had asked this before in our group chats, you know, does Nick know that she's a Skrull? Right. And they explained it in this episode that Nick didn't know that she was a Skrull, and that, like, he talks specifically about how she fooled him, and he was just like, how long, you know, for how long have you been my wife? Right. And finds out it's like since the beginning.
I thought that was referring to her being like just a spy.
No,
like,
he knew she was a Skrull.
He knew she was a Skrull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had never told him the story of how she got her face. Like how she settled on that person. And that's what that story was about.
Incredibly sweet, incredibly sad story.
Yeah.
Yeah. That and it was the absolute opposite of what they did in Wonder Woman 1984.
Well, no, like I felt
So-
that he didn't know, because the last question that she asked him was, if I would have revealed my real face, would you have still loved me? And he goes, I guess we'll never find out.
I think she's
Yeah.
just referring to if she would have been herself,
Yeah,
if he would have still
before.
fell in love with her.
Right.
But-
Exactly.
But there was also a reference when he walked into that one cafe, and she was like, "Oh, who are you looking for?" You know, and he was like, "Oh, so and so," and she was all like, "Oh, really? What does she look like?" And he said, "Oh, it varies on the day of the week."
Depends on the day of the week. Yeah.
Or-
Depends on the day of the
so-
week.
But I
Right.
think when he met her, it was more that he was looking for a contact. He was looking for somebody that he was.
Her. He was looking
It was
for
her.
He was looking for her. Yeah.
They were,
Yeah.
they were doing a little role playing.
Yeah, they were doing a little like,
Right.
cheeky, flirty. That's
Yeah.
how you flirt with
Mhm.
the scroll kind of thing. But I think she was saying, if you had only known me with my scroll face, would you still have loved me? I think that's what she was
Yeah.
saying. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
did
think
all of
that's-
this for you, but would you have loved me even if I didn't? Kind of thing. That's what I took from it. Now, we could be totally wrong. And Phil is 100% right on this. I mean, he's been
Right.
right.
No,
on who's the
I
scrolls
will
and
not
who
let
isn't
Phil
the
be
Skrulls
right.
one.
Ranger will not be right.
How
over
dare
me.
you?
He doesn't like me being right this much.
But I think that I thought this episode was not only more action driven, but more emotionally driven. Like we
yeah.
got an emotional beating with that scene of her talking about how she became Priscilla, and then we got the shootout at the end and casualties that happened, and the president passing out. That guy passes out too easy. I'm sorry, passes out too
Yeah.
easy. They need to look at his blood sugar, or maybe he's got like uncontrolled blood pressure or something. But
Yeah,
he passes
there's
out
something
too
going
easy.
A
on.
little bit of blood rushed to his head, and he passed out.
Right.
I know.
Yeah.
God, he
like,
flipped
dude,
over,
come
was
on.
upside down. I mean, I don't know. That wouldn't have knocked me out. I mean, jeez.
No.
You know what? I bet he doesn't drink alcohol either, because he had that big old upset earlier about Scrody
Cody.
being
Scrody.
drunk
Scrotum?
on the
Yes.
bourbon.
Move on.
Yeah.
Hmm
He's a
But I think
narc,
it's also,
man.
I think also part of that was more so that you're not supposed to be drinking on duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is even if that's just a small Easter egg for anybody who's in the military, like you can get in a shit ton of trouble for being drunk on duty, right?
Yeah.
Gave him
Yeah.
a lot of leeway for him, like, smelling whiskey on him, right? He's like, hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved how he went, oh, so did you pregame before this? I was like, whoa.
I'm gonna throw it out there. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had Pappy Van Winkle's, but it's the best whiskey I've ever had in my life, and it is just as expensive as he mentions in that episode.
I didn't realize it was really a thing. I
Oh,
thought they
Pappy Van
invented it
Winkle.
for Marvel.
No, Pappy Van Winkle is an actual whiskey. It's one of the most expensive whiskeys you can get. Me and Jackie had a flight of it at a restaurant here in Sacramento. It was expensive, but it was worth it.
Did you guys have to donate plasma after to recover?
No,
To recover the money, not
no, we didn't.
Oh, I was like, is
No,
it
not
poison? What the hell?
No, but there's
No, that's snake juice.
I know, not to jump too much into it, but that particular whiskey, there's 3 batches of it, right? There's only 3 batches that were ever made of Pappy Van Winkle. One of them was in like 1860 something. One of them was like in the 1880s, and then the last one was during Prohibition.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the way that they explained it to us was, and the guy, as we took drank the whiskey, he was like explaining like the different tastes that we're getting out of it. He was saying the first one, so whiskey makers only make 3 batches in their lifetime.
Okay.
Right. There's going to be, and so there's your first batch, right? The one that where you're learning how to do it. Second batch is improvement, and then your master batch is always your third batch, right?
Right.
Which Pappy Van Winkle is exactly that, right? So we tried the first batch from 18, I think, like I said, it was the 1860s.
So like right around the Civil War.
Yeah, right around Civil War.
And when you taste it, it's very it's very rough, right? And then
more mashy.
Yeah, right. And then you hit the you do the one from the 1880s, and that one you can taste the improvement. You can taste like it's a little smoother. You can taste a little more flavor in it, and
You can
then
taste the Reconstruction era in it.
exactly. And then the Prohibition era one, because they made it during Prohibition, it was one of those things where like they buried the casks and they were selling it like on the side and everything like that, right? The Prohibition era one, which is the one that's like monstrously expensive. That one, it's just, you can taste the perfection in it, right? Like it's just, it's smooth. It tastes great. You can taste like, like definitely taste the sugars in it, and it's like easily one of the best whiskeys I've ever tried, right? And the whole thing was like the guy was explaining, it's not just that it's good whiskey, it's the fact that it was Prohibition era whiskey that wasn't destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, that's like your tasting history. That's really when you talk about these liquors that you have to like really work at and really, like hundreds of years sometimes to get it correct, that you're actually, it's art. It's just art in a liquid form,
right?
So, and I mean, that's cool. To me, it would all taste like burning, so it would be lost on me.
And I'm not of age, so it's just
So I mean, that's it. But no, I honestly thought Pappy Van Winkle's was like an MCU Marvel invention, so I had no idea. So today I learned Pappy Van Winkle's is a real thing. So
well,
same here.
He mentions in the episode that one of his vices is good whiskey, and the fact that he actually busted out, one of the whiskeys that's considered one of the best whiskeys ever made, was what was, I think for me as a whiskey drinker, was a big deal.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, it's a temptation that you almost can't refuse if you enjoy stuff like that. So I mean, I get why he did it. It's all a manipulation, but it was a fun scene. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, this is right after that reveal, right? Like we got that roadie reveal that we kind of already knew was coming, right? Now, also that I was trying to figure out who the scroll was that was Rhodey, because that makes it a little bit more difficult to figure out because it's a female scroll.
So, a couple of people on Twitter are saying that they thought that the person playing the scroll, that she actually says that her name's Rava, which is like, it's almost the opposite of Vara, so that might have something to do with it. But I don't know. I haven't actually looked up to see what her name was. So I was just calling her Scrody.
She is the scrotum of Rhodes. But yeah, so I mean, just to kind of backtrack a little bit. So there are a crap ton of X-Men and Inhuman references within Vara and Fury's home,
like that book jacket. That's framed. That was so cool.
Yeah, so I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of like fun stuff inside of there. If you're paying attention, you see all these things that are referencing stuff that we're gonna see in the future. I mean, like, we've already seen different versions of Black Bolt, right? Like, we've seen Black Bolt kind of make his return into the MCU and everything like that. But then also the X-Men,
Charles Xavier,
right?
So.
Right. But we're also seeing. I mean, we know the X-Men are coming because we've got Wolverine.
Yeah,
we've seen Wolverine in his suit at this point. So
yeah. And I mean, there's all those rumors about all the people that are like all the X-Men coming, like all the actors that were X-Men, So that were in like the old 20th Century Fox, like Famke Jensen, and we reported on. I think last week we reported on it, and just all that. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of mutants in the Deadpool movie. Now, whether they make it all the way through the Deadpool movie, we don't
Right.
know. But
It's doubtful, but still.
yeah, so I mean,
Pretty sure Wade's gonna kill everybody because that's what he does.
Oh yeah.
That's what he does in the comics. So I mean, like,
yeah. I mean, they may twist it and have him actually be bringing heroes from other worlds to help fight Kang, because Kang wouldn't, you know, that's something Kang wouldn't expect or something. I don't know. I that's a little fuzzy for me. My fortune telling abilities for MCU movies on that front are a little clouded at this time.
Wade's gonna
Ask
have a
again later.
carbonadium sword. He's gonna kill everybody. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay. Or not.
All right, we
Is
get
this,
it, Phil.
Is this going to be the Mandalorian all over again?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
All right.
Wade is gonna marry Wolverine.
At least at least we know what the
Yeah,
the
Wade and
theme
Logan are
for
getting married.
the next few months is going to be between our
Wade and
blood
Logan
feud.
are getting married, so now they can merge
Merge the houses of
merge the houses of X-Men right there.
Okay.
the House
So
of M. They
instead
can
of
merge the House of M.
X-Force-
House of M, yes.
It'll be House of M. There you go. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
So-
god. So
I didn't see the Inhumans thing though. What was the Inhumans one?
It was where is it at? I was reading right here.
there was basically a book jacket that was talking
Yeah,
about
decoding the
genetic structures.
superhuman gene.
Oh, so
Oh.
it actually, yeah, okay. All
and
right.
Okay,
it's
that makes
supposed to be like a reference to both Inhumans and X-Men.
Right.
So,
and
and then they're going to find out. What we're going to find out is they're going to introduce Inhumans and the X-Men, and they're going to say, guys, so we brought you all here. This is an intervention. You guys are actually all mutants.
Yeah.
It's just
Surgeon
some of you
Mist
are what we
didn't do anything.
consider
Right.
cosmic mutants, and the others we consider Terran mutants.
Yeah,
and so,
Terrigen
but you're
Mist
still
doesn't-
mutants. So,
Terrigen Mist is a lie.
right.
It's a
Terrigen
conspiracy.
Mist was
You're all
brought by
mutants.
the government.
It's turning everybody into mutants. Oh,
It's the government.
they're turning everybody into mutants. They're Skrulls.
They're turning everybody
Terrigen
into
Mist
mutants.
is another lie that S.H.I.E.L.D. told you.
They're turning the frogs into mutants. Oh.
Pakistan.
They're
Pakistan.
turning everybody into mutants. Pakistan.
Pakistan. Yeah.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Pakistan.
Guys, so we get a nanotech reference in episode 4. So Rhodey is talking about a poison in Secret Invasion 4, just kind of like a joke about like drinking the whiskey, and Nick. Sorry, we can't call him Nick Fury. Says,
I call him Nick.
but he says, he goes, oh, is there poison in this? He goes, no, nanotech.
I mean, he didn't lie.
No, he didn't lie.
When did he
Yeah,
lie?
Straight told him.
He did put nanotech inside of it.
Right? It seemed like a joke, but it wasn't.
You know, he said in Winter Soldier, in Captain America Winter Soldier, he doesn't lie. He tells the truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is another
Ro-
example. Nobody believes
It's
him.
Scrotum's fault that he didn't believe him.
Scrody.
Screwed.
Scrody on the shorty.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
No. No scrotum on a shorty. No.
Scrody on the shorty.
Oh man. So yeah, so that was really cool. I did like that. So, you know, obviously there's still
Scroting on Eugene.
teasing.
Okay, we're
they're
done.
still
We're done.
teasing the mutants and all of that. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
he's our mutant.
All right,
Sorry.
let's talk about these powers that Gravik obviously has, but we haven't seen all of them. But like, you know, there's references to certain powers, and we see 2 of them, right? So
Yeah.
in this episode, we
Yes.
see 2 of them. So it's
Groot.
very
Extremis, Frost Beast, and what was the other?
and Cull Obsidian.
Oh yeah, Cull Obsidian.
I'm sorry, I still call him Black Dwarf. Okay.
Cannot use that word.
You can't say that.
It's funny because, like, you know, like they changed it because they're like people can be offended by it, but he's a reference to a star.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a reference to a type of star,
Yeah.
but still.
But
I
now we're
mean,
making fun of
I'll give you this. Cull Obsidian is a badass name,
Oh yeah.
right? But like they never actually called him Cull Obsidian in any of the movies, so it's
No,
kind of
they
like
didn't.
it's like you could have just still called him Black Dwarf. It would have been fine.
It's like a certain ship of a certain bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe is no longer named what it was.
Slave One.
Because
That's
Yeah.
the
You
point.
can say it. You can say it.
the
Slave
point.
one.
Oh,
Slave one. It was
One.
slave one. Oh my
Slave
god.
One.
That's the point.
Slave One. We're talking about the Slave One, right?
yeah.
We're talking about slave one.
It's the point. It's Slave One. It's
Totally
it is not
Slave
a.
One.
It is a fire spray class ship, not the fire spray.
Which is not wrong. It is a fire spray class ship.
Right, but it's also called the Slave One.
The
It's
reason,
Slave One.
the reason is because they're trying to turn Boba Fett into an anti-hero rather than him being a straight villain.
He can still have a ship named the fucking Slave One.
Seriously.
The whole reason that they don't want it to be the Slave One is because they feel like that makes him a definite bad guy for him to call his ship the Slave. And it's like, I mean,
That's who he was.
right. I'm not, I
You
I
know?
don't think you should take away from the history of him, but let's not get into that.
Yeah,
No,
I
no.
still believe that you should still call it the Slave One. I think it's
I
fine.
apologize.
It's-
that was
it's
my
stupid.
fault.
Anyway,
No,
Gravik's grabbing.
Yes.
We're nerds. It happens. But I mean, we do see the tree roots come out of Gravik's arm. He basically does. It was actually a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. I thought that was going to be a much longer scene with him, like almost doing like in Guardians 2 when Groot like grabs
the whole
everybody and just kind of like,
yeah.
he just like goes between the whole wall, right? I thought
Yeah.
that's what was going to happen. No, it's like a quick like, let me push you with my root and then bring it back, and it's like anticlimactic.
Well,
movie.
and
It
I
looked
was
like
really
he-
disappointed about that.
If you think about it, the powers that they got, that they have on here, are very similar to the Fantastic Four powers.
Right,
yeah,
right. They are.
Yeah. So like you've got the heating, like the extremis for the hot, right? And then you've got Groot for the, Mr. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then you've got Cull Obsidian and the Frost Beast for the Thing, basically, and then you're just missing the Invisible Woman.
So I think Extremis is actually representing Invisible Woman because
Oh, you think so?
because she can do like force field and she has like light healing abilities.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that could be a
I
combo,
see that.
though.
Yeah, I
'cause
think
it
the
could also
Extremis.
be.
Well, because
yeah, it could be a merger too.
I was saying I think the Frost Beast is representing Johnny Storm and just being an opposite, right?
Oh yeah.
So-
Okay. That
yeah.
that does make sense.
So like because like basically instead of getting fire powers, he gets frost powers, right? And then Cull Obsidian is obviously Thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys saw that trailer for for this week's episode, but there's basically the Super Scroll in that trailer looks like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Mm.
That
So
does,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that that's what they're doing with Cull Obsidian, is that they're turning into like super strength powered monsters.
Yeah, and they just happen to be green, like the whole.
Right. Well, I mean, because
Whoa.
squirrels are green, but I mean, I think that's I think that's what they're doing with Cull Obsidian, is that that's representing the Thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just thought that it was an interesting way to make the reference without it being so obvious.
Right.
So
And
that
the
the
other thing
people
is,
that knew about like the scrolls, like the scrolls appearances, they would get it, but the other people
right.
wouldn't.
And then the other thing is because they haven't introduced any actual like kind of like any
Mhm.
fire characters. Like we
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
Firestarter. We don't have
We don't have Johnny Storm. We don't have
Johnny Storm.
anybody that has fire. Really.
No,
yeah.
No. Mm-mm. The closest we've gotten is Extremis.
yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, if you're talking fire, we did get Ghost Rider,
But it wasn't official MCU though, so that's
Yeah.
which sucks. That's official. It was on TV. On the internet.
I did love him as Ghost Rider, but yeah,
Well, guys, out of this whole episode, my favorite thing about this episode
Mhm.
was when Homegirl was talking about her owl, and she called it now Nick Fury, and she put the little patch over his eye.
yeah.
It's
Oh, and that was
adorable.
hilarious.
It's so good.
That was my favorite part of the whole episode. I was like, that's funny.
Olivia Colman is a treasure.
So, guys, I need your ratings. Give me your rating on the episode overall.
I'm gonna say it was like 8 Groot roots out of 10 Nick Fury patches on an owl.
Awesome.
On an owl. I love it. All right.
All right, I'm gonna go 9 black. I mean, you can't say that. Out of 10 Nick Fury shock face.
Oh man.
All right. I am gonna go 9 resuscitations of fragments out of 10. Maybe we should, I don't know if we should get a divorce or renew our vows.
I love that line.
That was good.
That was such a
good.
good line.
Yeah.
That's my rating because I just thought it was great.
Again, loving that scene because they both had an opportunity to kill each other because she obviously was meant to kill him and he like is just kind of like defending himself and they both decided not to shoot each other.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like they were equals. It was 2 equals coming together to have a conversation. They neither one of them had an advantage over the other.
I love that he called her out too. He's like, "So you're gonna check that gun and kill me now?" And she's like, pulls it out, puts it on the table. Like he already.
But it was. I think it's probably the fairest chance Nick Fury has ever given someone to kill him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think So that to me, I thought it was just that to me they were on equal footing. It was 2 equals having a conversation. And I think that's what made it so powerful to me. And then after that, you go from, oh my gosh, oh my heart, oh my gosh. And then it goes right into explosions. So it's like,
right.
Yay. So.
I'm going to give this 9 undead scrolls out of 10 glasses of Pappy Van Winkle.
There you
Good.
go.
Nice. Solid.
It tastes like burning.
I love the taste of burning
It
trees.
tastes like Extremis is what it tastes like.
It does taste like Extremis. Oh God, yes. Guys, predictions. What do we think is going to happen in episode 5? Because we do have the penultimate episode coming up.
We do.
In tonight, right? No. Does it come out Thursday or Wednesday?
No,
It comes out Wednesday.
So it's tonight. It'll be out
tonight.
3 a.m. Eastern time in the U.S., midnight Pacific time in the
Right.
U.S.
All right.
So predictions. What do you guys think? What do you guys think is going to happen in this penultimate episode?
I think Nick Fury's getting the patch. He's finally stopped messing around and trying to find a solution that doesn't get a lot of people killed. And so he's going for the eye patch and he's going for his old school gun. And we ain't going to get the old man Fury. We're going to get Nicholas J. Fury.
Woo! Let's embrace that chaotic good.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to go along with Fray.
Yeah, that's basically what I was going to say. I was thinking that they may reveal that this Nick we've been seeing has been a Skrull, and then we have the real one come down. But I feel like your thing about he's going to just kind of be like, I'm done with the bullshit. Let's just do this.
Yep.
I love that.
Thank you.
I mean, that's everything you guys both just said. I'm kind of like, I would go along with that too, because it's time to see the true Fury that we've been waiting for them to bring out again.
I want some Fury rage.
Yeah, I'm done seeing this mopey, sad. I got scratched in the eye by a cat.
Flurkin. It was a Flurkin.
It was a cat. It still was a cat.
Flurkin.
That flirking cat.
A flirking cat, okay?
I think
why are there so many motherfucking cats on this motherfucking space station?
That's what he's gonna say, and then put the patch on, and there we go. That's
I do think that we're gonna get that. I think he's gonna team up with Sonya because he has no one else to turn to.
No other options, right?
And I think Gaia and Bara are gonna team up, and I think that they may actually become a new faction that is like the in between Talos and Gravik, and that's that. I think that might be more dangerous.
We're all third parties. Get ready for it. Oh my god, it's the Green Party.
Oh my god. Speaking of Talos, I think we're gonna find out that Talos isn't dead.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna find out that Maria Hill is not dead.
That I do think.
Right. I think that Maria Hill is gonna show back up just because, again, we know that she's coming back for other projects that take place after this. So I think we find out that Maria is back because episode 5 would be where you reveal that, so she can be a badass in episode 6.
Yep.
Guess who's back?
But again, I think I don't think
Maria's back. Brought a friend.
I don't think that Talos is gonna be dead. I feel like I don't know that it doesn't feel right. Maybe that's the intention, is that it's just like, you're killing Talos doesn't feel right, and it's kind of like,
that's the point,
right.
There.
I think if he was
Maria there too, like it's.
I think if he was dead, they would have given you that last shot of his head as he drove off. It's kind of a. He's not dead. I don't know.
Right.
The
other thing is that like it's kind of like Nick just leaving his friends.
Yeah.
There, right? I don't feel like Fury just leaves his friends' dead bodies. Right. So I mean, I feel like Talos is still alive. He probably passed out from the shock, but I mean, like, I feel like Talos is still alive. We're gonna find out in the next episode that Talos is still alive. Maybe Gaia helps him or something like that, because we know Gaia is a Super Skrull at this point. I know that Nick and Gaia are probably going to team up in some way or form, and they're going to fight Gravik. And I think that Gravik is going to reveal another superpower, specifically the Collapsidian power, because we saw it in the trailer. So,
yeah.
There was that scene where you see Gaia go down into the basement. It's got all the bodies.
Yeah.
And so initially I was like, oh, that's got to be all of the people that they've got in stasis that they've been using for a longer period of time. So those are all humans. But then I started thinking about it, that if like they probably had to have test subjects on for the Super Skrull stuff. Like they weren't successful the very first time.
Right.
So they had to have Skrulls do that, right? So those could all be Skrull bodies.
Ooh.
And that's what
interesting idea.
Hiding from everyone in his faction, is that he killed all of these Skrulls in order to get everybody Super Skrull, so that he's not really on their side. He just wants to win. I just
thought of something else too. So remember my prediction before, and this one's a long shot, so this may not happen, but I mean, like, remember I was saying,
I love those. Those are amazing.
Remember I was talking about how Talos might be the bad guy, like the overall bad guy in this. What if Talos staged his death?
Ooh.
So Gravis is just a pawn.
Right.
Like his lieutenant.
Right. And Gravik, and basically everything he's doing, especially like, the conversation that they had was in a public place, even though it was all Skrulls that were there. Right. It was in a public place where they had this conversation about who was in charge and who was the general and everything like that. Right.
Well,
like maybe everything that they've done so far was them.
It's all been play acting.
Right. They've been kind of just like staging things to make, like their public appearances seem like they're at odds. But in reality, Talos is actually calling all the shots.
Yeah. Because they did make him really doddering.
Yeah. And the other thing
is just lost and everything.
The other thing is that just kind of we have unresolved conversations between Nick and Talos. Like I don't see them just killing Talos after all these conversations that they've been having, like where they've been at odds, right? So again, this is my long shot prediction, but Like, I don't think that it's 100% going to be something that happens, but again, good storytelling, there's a lot of twists and turns.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest twist you can give us is that Talos faked his death and had Gravik publicly kill him the way he did.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. But yeah,
It's a real shot in the shot in the dark, but
yeah,
100%. But
a real shot in the graphic. Oh.
Especially like when you look at the trailer on the screen right now,
it is. There's
there it is. Shot in the graphic.
They just showed him like stabbing Gravik stabbing Talos. And it's like, just the close proximity, the way, the control that Gravik has to have with that kind of stuff, they can make it see. And one of the things I noticed was you see Talos like kind of falling to the ground and holding his chest. You don't really see any blood.
That's a good point.
Whereas, like, look at when he killed Maria Hill, there's a clear gunshot wound in her chest.
And like red blood or that could just be maybe the Skrulls' blood just coagulates differently than ours does in oxygen.
But there have been other characters that they've killed off that have had clear like blood.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know. I'm
that's really interesting.
That's what I'm saying is like, it's the small details like that, right? Like
I would love for him to be alive and not dead. I mean, I've said from the beginning, I feel like he's the sacrificial person on this. Like he's got to be the one that dies to make this mean something. But I mean, I would love it if he didn't, because I just love Ben Mendelsohn and I love Talos in this. But also kill him off, bring Dr. Doom from a variant world, and have him be Talos. Have him be that guy.
I know, right? Oh man, my other prediction, because I have one more.
Oh, all right.
My other prediction is,
and then I gotta ask you a question.
Okay. Well, shit. I was gonna say my other prediction is that we have merch, people. Woo! Go ahead and ask me your question, though.
Okay. So, who do you think's gonna be a Skrull this week?
Ooh. Oh yeah. Okay.
God.
I want to do it on camera because there was a discrepancy last week. I gave it to you though, so.
Maybe the president?
No, because I think the president is actually a human, and I think they're going to kill him off.
Yeah. So
I think it's going to be if there is a Skrull reveal, just because we're on the last two episodes. I think they're done with reveals at this point, and I think it's going to be more storyline going forward at this point. So I don't think we're going to get another Skrull reveal. If we do, it's going to be I think it'll just be a rando again, kind of like episode 2.
Yeah, I put it down because I've been like spinning this whole story about I've made secret agent tall guy into like this whole like big like he's got his own side quest and everything. And I think he is a Skrull as well. And I think that broken arm was totally like a red herring to make everybody think he wasn't really a Skrull. And he's really like, he's going to have the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic powers, because he's already big. So he could get super stretchy. Anyway.
Okay.
And I don't think we're going to have somebody who has like, somebody who's an actual character,
Yeah. So not like, Sharon Carter or
anything. Or Val, which was my prediction, but
I think she's coming. I think she's gonna be number 6. She's gonna be it.
Possibly like
Laura Barton.
Ooh.
That's
a good point.
Any of the Bartons would be a good pick, but I mean,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
We just found out that she was Mockingbird. We just found that out at the end of Hawkeye. And so I feel like, okay, yeah, that's a really interesting like call back. And yeah, it's comic book accurate or whatever, but not really, but that Hawkeye and Mockingbird were together. Anyway, but I just think that they can do more with her if they want. And I think that might be something too. Having her infiltrate Hawkeye's life would really mess him up.
Which hot guy?
That Hawk guy, Hawk guy Not
Hot
hot
guy.
guy.
Hot-
Not Kate.
hot guy.
Not Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop.
Kate
Give
Bishop.
the usual.
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop.
Kate
Are
Bishop.
you done? Can I add the hot sauce now? Are you done? I add the hot sauce.
Oh God. Fray.
Yelena's my favorite.
Fray. You know who my
Yeah.
favorite is?
Yeah.
You are. All right.
Oh.
I'm wearing merch though.
Hey.
Rocking the distance nerding today because
Woo!
Hudson didn't steal it this time.
I had to arm wrestle him for it, and I cheated.
Sorry, my prediction: Val's gonna show up. It's gonna be Val.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
So going back to the merch because yes, ladies and gentlemen, we got merch, people. All right, yeah, guys, we got merch. If you're interested in some distance nerding merch, we got hats. Hats are $35 each or $30 if you want to get multiple hats. Galaxy Gray is still available in the hat variety.
One of the last black.
Yeah, he got one of the last black ones. Now we got shirts. So you can DM us on Distance Nerding or anywhere it says Distance Nerding right there. You see that shirt on the Fray right there. We'll get your size.
They're really well made, heavy shirts, and like this one's already been through the wash, and there was no like fading or anything. It's awesome.
Right. That was intentional. We wanted to make sure that they were very comfortable.
I know, but I'm also promoting you. We're not
I know.
struck. We can promote each other.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it was intentional.
I would show it if I could, but I do have some Distance Nerding stickers on the back of my computer as well now.
Yeah,
so
I
there
love
you go. Yeah,
love it. So $20 if you're local to Sacramento, $25 if we got to ship it to you. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in other merch, Lucharillas. That's right. You can head over to lucharillas.com and check out all the stuff that they've got. Now they've got shirts, they've got bump boxes, they've got bottle openers, all kinds of fun stuff. And of course, you can go over there and check out the funnest of all things, LA Night. Yeah. Okay. Had to do that just for Lucharillas. Yeah.
Aw.
Lucharillas. Yeah. So that's it for that, guys. Now let's talk our nice little schedule. Let me put that on the bottom of the screen right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got game streams from 8 to 12. I thought I was going to be done with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and then I realized I was only 50% through, so that game had a whole hell of a lot more. I spent a good hour fighting Darth Vader on Monday morning.
You loved it.
Oh God, Vader is a really hard character in the fact that his like fighting against him is not hard at all. But
Who voices Vader in it? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but it's definitely not James Earl Jones.
you know what? I bet that it's Sam Witwer.
No, I don't think it's the other guy that used to play Chad Vader.
Oh, cool. Okay, nice.
Well, the dude that played Chad Vader, he's done Vader in a bunch of video games now.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, that checks out. I mean, he did
Force
well.
Unleashed. Yeah, he played Vader in all the Force Unleashed games.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He's been Witwer adjacent. He's a step away from Witwer.
Right. But I mean, so Vader, if you guys didn't catch that fight, he's not hard in like one-on-one fights to begin with, but like number one, he cheats like really bad. I mean, that's just Vader in general because like he can throw shit at you. His lightsaber is one hit kills.
Whoa.
Right.
Man.
So if he hits you once, you're dead. Right. So like that's the hardest part is blocking and dodging, because if he hits you, you're done and you have to restart from the beginning and you have to fight him like 6 times.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the most like he's actually one-on-one. He's actually easier than the other dude, the other Dark Jedi guy I fought the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But Vader
okay.
itself, like the fight the way it is, was like still kind of hard. But I mean, outside of that, yeah, I mean I've done a whole lot more. We found out that Bode the new character in the game is a dark.
I'm sorry. I have not played it, and I don't want to be spoiled.
You
So,
just have
okay.
to like take your headphones
Yeah,
off
yeah.
and just like.
I will not
really
continue.
mad.
Then that's fine. I will not continue. But the game is good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very much aware. Yeah.
The last hour, I downloaded Street Fighter and I made my character. So we're gonna be getting some Street Fighter going on here pretty soon. We're gonna try and do a Street Fighter tournament between Distance Nerding and Kyber Cave Gaming. So, and I've been practicing with Ryu. Because I'm just gonna wreck everybody's Ryu. So that's our game streams from 8 to 12. On Tuesdays, we've got the download, the show you're watching right now, from 6:30 typically to 8:30. Of course, it can go a little bit longer. Like
we went long.
Good Lord.
And then, of course, Thursdays, the build from 6 to 8, where we interview interesting people. I build Lego on stream, and we have a whole bunch of fun. This Thursday,
and brackets.
Yes, and the brackets. We haven't done brackets for 2 weeks because the interviews have been so damn fun that we just keep forgetting. But this week's interview, we're going to be interviewing a gentleman named Gage the Wolf, who is a indie comic creator.
Cool.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about his indie comic and everything like that. It's gonna be a good time. And that's our schedule, guys. Sweet. So of course, guys, I need your pluggables. Let's go ahead and start with the Fray.
Hello, I am Fray and Fray Girl. So I'm both. I'm Fray and Fray Girl. And I'm here to tell you about what I do.
Yes.
What I do on my personal channel basically is Corgi Shorts right now. But we're also me and
Corgi
Shdu.
Shorts. Corgis are already short.
Yeah. So it made sense. Anyway, so
Corgi nubbins.
Shdu and I are starting a new series. Hopefully we'll get to tape the first one this week. We've been trying to. But it's called Classified, and it's where you take a non-D&D like fandom or franchise, and we're going to classify them into the different D&D classes to see what kind of like party they would be in a D&D campaign. So that's kind of what we're starting, and so that'll be on my channel, Fray Girl. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. It's just a really cool concept, and he's like huge D&D, and I, you know me and all of the fandoms. I know enough to be dangerous in all the fandoms, and and so we just thought it would be kind of the perfect like little melding of those two things, and we talk about it all the time. So why not just record it, right? And then on Tuesdays, I'm here on the download. I would say 95% of the time. And then on Saturdays, I'm on the Saturday Morning Nerd Out for Kyber Cave Productions, where it's we do some nerdy talk in there too. And I mod for Distance Nerding and Kyber Cave Productions. Yeah, so come and talk to us. We love to talk. Usually Phil and I are in the spoilers channel, just talking about Secret Invasion or the last movie we saw or something.
Talking about Witcher this week.
Yeah, right. So it just really depends. But yeah, if you guys want to talk about stuff, definitely hit us up on Discord. So
awesome. All right. Shdu, the Dungeon Master Dungeon.
Woo! Yes. So I am Shdu Studios on most things. Shdu Studios here on YouTube. And I do various things. I make short films and do various nerdy stuff. Been doing a lot more D&D stuff recently, a few more kind of world building tutorials and whatnot. And yeah, and I'm Liam Cunningham on Instagram as well. And as you can see, D20, there you go. So
yeah.
So that's pretty much it, I think.
All right, easy enough. Eugene.
Woo!
Yeah, look at
what is going on, guys? I am Eugene. I am one half of the Geek Saga, which is, if you guys don't know, we're two salty veterans talking about all things geek. You can catch us on Wednesdays at 7:30, which is tomorrow, which is Wednesday. If you guys want to catch us and see the lovely and wonderful, amazing Jackie Lastra, she'll be coming on our show to talk to us. And
yay!
You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. We have our OnlyFans page, which is my partner David, and who's going to be Donald Ducking it for everybody. And yeah, I mean, that's how you guys can find us, all at the Geek Saga.
Woo! All right. And then,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am. I'm your boy, Young Phil. Now, have something you want to discuss. Tell us what you're nerding out on, and make sure to let us know in our Facebook group, The Distance Nerdington Post. Now, I tell you guys this every week. And I'm going to get real close ASMR style right here. I tell you guys this every week, right? And all you got to do is go to distancenerding.com. On the top left-hand side of the page right there, you'll see a big button that says join the taco party. Ladies and gentlemen, join the taco party. Best way to support the show, to support us. It helps us get to more shows, be able to see you guys, helps us get more prizes so we can give away more prizes on the show and everything like that. And of course, at live events and things that we do. Now, of course, you can connect with us at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Discord, GeoCities, MySpace, OnlyFans. It's only pictures of Aaron Watson's feet. Pretty soon we're going to have a Fansly and, of course, any other website where you can get obscene things that are not obscene, like Pornhub. At It's Nerding. Now, of course, aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, you can email us over at, you guys can see me like going on my mouse here. You can email us at thanks and keep nerding together. It's nerding. All right. It's time at AOL.com. Distance nerding at AOL.com for those of you who didn't catch that. Let's
Just
again, thanks and keep nerding together, guys. It's time for the taco. I was gonna say the taco party. It's time for the dance party. Woo!
Only if we all had tacos that we could.
If I had tacos that I could make dance on screen, I'd be a happy man. Let's do this. Woo! Oh, she got the Wong. Wongers.
Wongers.
Oh my god.
Distance nerding.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Hey, Lazo.
Is that Cody?
Commander Cody. Woo!
Shut up, Alex.
Happy birthday, Jay!
Yay!
Happy birthday, Jay!
Happy birthday!
Woo!